I think we're live. We are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Go Live. I think I timed that perfectly. Thank you so much for joining us in what will be an epic show. We have a sick guest. It's been a while trying to get this one guy down, but it's going to be very saucy. Absolutely. Before we do the introductions, yes, I have a scar on my face. I fought my little brother. Shame on me. But that's why it is. It's not a love bite. If any ex-girlfriends or current girlfriends are watching, don't be jealous. And yeah, we're going to get into it. Before we get to introduce the guests, Asa wearing Cobra. You're not Cobra Kai. You're such a LaRusso Bodhi tree, whatever that tree thing is called. What's it tree? What's that tree?
Bonsai tree.
Bonsai tree. Of course you would know that as a LaRusso. I'm Cobra Kai. You're not Cobra Kai.
Yeah, no, I'm way too clumsy for like trimming bonsai trees. This is my intro, isn't it? I'm good, guys. Thanks for asking. I've been cyber gaming all week and looking forward to the show. Sorry, you could have got away with just saying that was sauce on your face, by the way. You didn't need to go into the family drama, but
you had to go with the cyber gaming too.
Cyber gaming. Alex has gone back, ready to poised to slap.
Cyber gaming. I love it.
Oh man, it's gonna be a messy show. I'm loving it. I'll tell you who is not loving being here. It's Randall Thor 19 who missed last week at cover for him, and now he's having a go at me because he said he was reading Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Rand, put the pugs down.
It wasn't last week, guys. You know, that was 2 weeks ago. And you know,
how are you doing, Rand?
I'm fine. I'm reading The Blade Itself, first book in the First Law trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. It's absolutely incredible, grim dark. You know, George R. R. Martin, Song of Ice and Fire-esque. And all I want to do is read because it's one of the best books I've read in I don't know how long. So instead of me reading, I got to sit here and do your stupid show. So
wow, you piece of shit. Yeah, that's right. I didn't censor that one. Great beat. Yeah, you have to do the show, Rand. You have to do it. This is more.
I don't have to do anything.
Yes, you do. You do the show. Why do you be like this? Why are this like this, Rand? You read Alex is This is going to be a messy one. It's going to be absolutely messy. We're going to get swimming in the sauce. I don't care if Rand needs to read Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Falafel. But last, certainly not least, and I hope that by the time I finish talking, the guest will be here. It is the man who likes to swim in the sauce himself. It is the thigh slapping. Oh no, it's Alex going up and then. Slap.
What's up, everybody? How's it going?
Welcome, man. Welcome to the show, man.
So I just remembered what I was reading because we were talking about reading books. I'm not reading a book. Okay.
Yeah.
But I am reading Berserk.
Oh, that's supposed to be
That's what I'm reading.
Is that anime?
This is number one. This is what I'm reading. About
sick. The cover looks mad.
Maybe a little more than halfway through it.
Oh, geez, it is the anime
That's
thing.
what I'm reading.
Oh, wicked.
So I like it so far. It's a little bit cringe in the first volume. It's not too bad. You know, I've been reading comics a long time.
Yeah, same actually. I haven't read it in a while. But isn't this based on an anime that had two revisions, one an older style and one a newer one? Have you seen the anime?
The anime is based off of this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that was like the golden era. It was like the golden era and something else. But I want to read the manga first before I watch the anime.
Okay.
But
isn't
the problem with Berserk? Because my buddy Gopher is big into it. Is that it'll never be finished because the creator just recently died?
Yeah, I think something happened like that. Yeah, I know the creator passed away, but I think someone else is picking it up to finish it.
Okay.
And those are the expensive edition you got there. I was looking at those.
Yeah, it was like $50.
Yeah, and there's like 10 of them, right?
Yeah, there's like 10 of them. I'm not going to buy all 10 at once. I was like, let me do the first one. We'll see how that goes, and then we'll go from there. But besides that, I'm playing Chrono Cross. I'm playing Pillars of Eternity, and I'm playing Vampire Survivors.
Oh, nice.
That's what I'm playing. Yeah.
Very broad game.
Yeah.
Rand, are there any games left for you to play in Man with a Million? Are you playing games these days? What are you playing?
Nah, I haven't played anything this week.
Yeah?
No,
You've
no.
kind of
Jordan to the
everything.
point. Okay.
What have you been playing, Asa?
Oh, loads. You know me. I'm still living in Skyrim as much as I can. I've been fighting bears on my treadmill, which is sweaty work, and I love it. I've played some of the Lego Star Wars thing that came out. I've played a bunch of stuff. I played a bit of Doom today, Eternal. Loads of games. I love playing the games. That's why we're here. Books as well. Games and books.
Skyrim is actually therapy, I think.
It is for Asa. Well, it's cardio for Asa.
Wait, do you play
he
Skyrim on a treadmill?
I play it in VR on an omnidirectional thing. Yeah, running around, walking around. It takes a long time to traverse Skyrim on foot, I tell you.
Oh, wait, can you explain that to me?
Yeah.
So,
you can probably put the footage up of him running
I
around.
will find some
beating
footage
the
in a
crap
minute, and if you've got the stream up, you can have a little look. But yeah, I've got spinny roundy treadmill, VR headset, Quest 2 for the wireless stuff, and I fight bears and spiders. And it's heavily modded, and it's a lot of fun.
That sounds so epic. I'm not gonna lie, even though it's
I feel like when you play Skyrim, it should be like under like 2 blankets in a very cold house.
not the way he plays it.
Like that's how I feel Skyrim should be played. You know what I mean? Like, let me get as comfortable as possible to melt into a couch and not move as little as possible, and then play this game.
That's the opposite.
Very different to the way that I play the game.
That's
Very different.
Oh, well, that's why it's intriguing. You're ahead of us. You're in the future. Why are you from the future, Asa? But the
Find
footage
out,
when
hold
it
on.
comes up and brings up Alex, you got to watch it. It's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah,
the game
I'll
looks
keep it up so I
amazing.
can watch it.
Looks amazing. We're going to get
Gaz.
into the topics. Yes, sorry, Rand.
People say my mic sounds screwed up. Is this true?
It's because they can't hear you, courtesy of the fact that you're not actually saying anything.
No. People that hear me say the mic doesn't sound right.
Chat, can you let us know if Rand sounds okay? I can hear it fine, I think. It sounds
Wait,
better
that is
now, Rand.
great. How much did you spend on that treadmill?
Yeah, enough. Back in a sec.
Do you have to wear like special shoes?
It does work with special shoes. Well done. Well, like deduced.
What? I didn't know that. Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. Special shoes. Come on, man. You got to wear a whole get out just to play video games. That's
Worth it.
Come on.
Oh, this isn't
Yeah,
combat. This is
well,
after
actually-
combat.
I can't wait. Actually, I want to try it when I come around, but I don't know if you'll allow me. After I made you punch your wall last time we were doing the boxing thing,
Wait,
remember?
you're like attached to it?
Yeah.
What are you doing to that man? This is a
Oh.
Oh
family
my
show.
god, that's insane.
It's not
That looks
it's not
amazing.
Skyrim as it was like 10, 15 years ago when it came out. It's quite different. That's why I've got on the poster on my wall, I've got Skyrim, because it's the game that I'll still be playing when I die. First game was Sonic, last game probably Skyrim.
Chat says VR is life. Well, Asa will agree with you. But yeah, that's the future.
I don't know if I'm ready for something like that.
I don't know if I'm either. You don't get motion sickness, or it's reduced, presumably, because you're doing the
It's
walking
your,
and stuff?
more like your real life motion, yeah. So it's less likely to give you motion sickness than trying to move around with analog sticks. No, see, I'm interrogating people. He's already dead, so he doesn't give me what I want to know. But
What are you doing? Oh my god, you're doing a whole Kazuya throwing, Hihachi throwing Kazuya off the cliff. You're so morbid. Just picked up his head and just like, he looks like he's alive, but he's
yeah,
lifeless inside. Wow.
I played a little bit of VR. Like I used like the first series of Vive, and it didn't do it for me. I was like, whatever. Like VR is not. But this is kind of neat. I just don't. It's just a lot. It's just a lot to like get a treadmill and get
It's a
hooked to it,
commitment, yeah.
and then I feel like I would need a lot of time in order to do something like that.
Yeah, a lot of commitment. But I'm sure they'll be worth the effort, because once you go through it, the immersion on that surely must be amazing. And Asa has one of them. Well, I think you're using the Quest there, but normally you have some crazy headsets. No,
I've got a couple. The Quest is like, I'm sure we'll talk about the PSVR 2 a little bit soon, but wireless is massively worthwhile, and the Quest 2 wireless tech is brilliant. So,
okay. Oh.
Watch out! You know what happens when you talk about VR on podcasts? People fall asleep and they tune out.
Oh wow!
It's actually a thing. It's actually a thing. I was reading about it, and I've seen other like people who they avoid talking about VR because the audience just does not care to like hear about it. And just like,
Unless it's like a really horrible story, like playing Boneworks, and you're like, I need to vomit.
yes,
Yeah. Or watching Asa actually throw things on the treadmill. That's quite different. That's quite weird.
Have you ever played VR Chat, Asa?
when it was new on the scene, and when Ugandan Knuckles was everywhere, I popped onto it, and that was enough. So now I don't frequent it.
There's a streamer called Soda Poppin', and he did a phenomenal clip on Twitch. If you ever watch him, he was in VR Chat and he saw a slime girl on VR Chat, and he has like 15,000 viewers, and he was like, what if we had sex and you just like let me die inside of you, and your body of slime dissolved me inside of you? And the VR girl was like, yeah, okay. Like in the middle of the stream, like, yeah, that's good, we'll do that.
And that's why I don't do VR chat. Ugandan Knuckles was the extent to which I could stomach the weirdness, but I have played it, and it's just weird. It's a bunch of little squeakers screaming through. So you all hear the Doppler effect and going, yeah! So, I haven't played VR for a while. But let's move on from the VR chat, because Rand's prophecies coming true as he sits there reading Philosopher's Stone. Let me read out these super chats. Danny Passion Official, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Please give me a AAA show or I'm out. I see, Danny, I thought you were on the it's okay side, but okay. Maybe you always were asking for more, but we're going to get into that. Absolutely. We have to with the Sauce Boss plus Alex. It's going to get saucy. Hoggy chatting with a $5 super chat. He goes, hey, Alex, welcome to the Source. Rand confirms Xbox has no games. That's why he is reading instead of playing. Source! And his facts. Erica's for the win. Shout out, Erica. Hope you're doing well. Hope the baby bump is okay. Your husband is in good hands. Don't worry. Please keep it civil and non-X-rated for once. Both of you.
That's literally impossible.
They were a little X-rated today on Twitter, talking about pancakes and waffles and stuff.
Listen, the only thing I eat are her buns. I'm just going to be real.
But Alex, you said pancakes gotta go. I disagree with you there, bro.
Yeah, because the thing. So I made a statement, right? If I were to choose between waffles, pancakes, French toast, and cinnamon
rolls, yeah.
Or cinnamon rolls, yeah. Pancakes would leave because the thing is, pancakes. Let me explain. Pancakes are incredibly volatile, and so you either have phenomenally amazing pancakes, or the pancakes are horrible. They're never like, oh, these are pretty good pancakes. They're either awesome or they're bad. So for me, it's like they're incredibly inconsistent because I've always had good French toast. I've always had okay to good waffles. Cinnamon rolls are always good. So pancakes got to go. They're the most inconsistent.
French toast got to go. Like the best pancake is better than the best of any of the other things.
This is not
but then
Gordon
again,
Ramsay's.
you also have the worst pancakes.
What's going to happen?
Yeah, but like worst pancakes is kind of like worst pizza. It's still good,
No.
This is science. We're gonna check out at the end of the show. We're gonna have a look at the analytics and see whether VR or pancakes is more off-putting for people.
During Xbox 2 yesterday, while Jez was talking, I ordered a sausage pizza, and he didn't know what a sausage pizza was.
This is the guy who like puts mayonnaise on everything, right?
Yeah,
he's that guy.
Yes, he's that guy.
No, you cannot take food advice from him.
Yeah.
I was just shocked because I was like, how do you not know what sausage pizza is? It's now a food podcast.
I mean, isn't it the name?
I mean, it
kind
already
of
is with the name of the sauce anyways. No, I'm the host.
No, you're not.
You don't want me to, you want me to talk? I'm going to talk.
Not about pizzas or mayonnaise or pancakes. Let's talk about games. Let's talk about games, right?
Why? You only play Apex Legends.
I play plenty of other things. I'm playing Apex Legends is the best. But yeah, well, let's talk about. Look, we have to talk about. I like butter chicken. Who are you, Canada Beast? You know me very well. Yeah. No. So let's get straight into it. Before we do that, though, Alex, it would be remiss of me to not talk about your career in the space. Listen, very few people do kind of content that we do well, I think. Very few. Like, your content is quite... And we do this with any
Man,
new guest.
whose mouse clicking is so loud?
Oh, that's mine. I'm sorry.
That's
I was about to say, I was like,
Let me
what is
adjust
going
that.
on?
Hold on. Is that really me? You can hear all those clicks?
Yeah, I've been like, what is going on?
Oh,
And actually,
man.
I didn't
All right,
even
let me-
read Erica's chat. She goes, too much sauce on this episode. Also, the mic background sound is Alex, not Rand. Hashtag blame Alex.
Can you hear-
Erica?
can you hear it now?
I'm sorry. I can hear
Yes,
it.
yes.
Get your NVIDIA broadcast up. That's funny for
All right,
me to
I'll
say.
stop.
What are
I'll
you
stop the mouse
clicking
clicking.
on, bro? What are you
Yeah,
doing?
what are you doing? It's just like
I have a lot of things. Look, I have developers DMing me. I've got things going on. All right.
Well, while we talk about your career, we want to talk about a little bit about you as a content creator very briefly
Sure.
before we jump into the topics. When did your YouTube career start? How do you think it's going? And what's your general view on fanboys?
When
in
did
no
it
particular order.
start? Oh my God, that was in like 2010 when I made my YouTube channel.
Oh wow! You did it for a
I
while.
didn't post any content until like 2016.
Okay.
And even then, like the content was super cringe because the first content you put out is always bad. It's never good. I then stopped posting. And then what I decided to do was really think about the kind of content I wanted to make. And I did content here and there. Like I did a video about like Donkey where he was getting blasted by game critics. I think that was the one that really took off. That one has like over 100,000 views, which is, you know, whatever. And then I didn't make anything really after that. And I thought to myself like, all right, well, what am I going to do with this thing? It's just sitting there. And I watched a couple of videos by like Alpha Gaming and really Devin Nash was really who I started watching a lot. And I was like, you know what, let's try it and actually, you know, do something dedicated. So in 2021, you know, I was on Press Our Podcast before we ended it. And I really wasn't making any content with that channel. I was like, you know what, let's do something with this thing. And I'm going to dedicate myself January 1st. I'm going to make a video every single day of the week for a year. And I want to see what happens. And for the first 6 months, nothing happened. It was an actual, like, it was like 200 views, 100 views, whatever. But then in June, it just skyrocketed and it was like 30K views, 25K views. And I was like, what the hell's going on? And apparently it's like, you just got to feed it, you know, like for YouTube, it's like, you have to just feed it all the time. And if you don't feed it, then it's not going to like do what you want it to do. And so I think an important thing too is people look at things like, oh, my channel is doing bad. No, the videos that you're putting out are not what people want to see, whether it's the thumbnail, the title, or the content itself.
Yeah.
And really what it comes down to is it's each individual video is how YouTube ranks your content. They don't rank it via channel.
Okay.
So you can have, like, I have some videos do incredibly well and then have other videos do incredibly poorly. And I'll have poorly viewed videos happen and then I'll have an incredibly well viewed video. So clearly they're not doing it via channel.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting how those things kind of like work out. And so, no, I mean, Devin Nash was like one of the best videos that I watched where he did a whole thing where it was, you know, sure, I like this kind of content that I want to make. Everything looks pretty on the camera, but does it make someone want to subscribe to the channel?
Yeah.
And I think that's a super important question to ask yourself when you're making that kind of content.
Absolutely. The kind of content you make now, though, it's very similar to what I do with the source, but you are very consistent. You call out in detail every week. You pick up the fanboys. So my question to you is, which group? You've covered all fanboys. You've covered Xbox fanboys, PlayStation, maybe Nintendo. I think you have.
Yes.
And PC fanboys. Well,
No, not PC yet.
Not yet, because you primarily game on PC, and also PC's kind of a little bit agnostic these days. But
Well, it's really like people arguing about Nvidia or AMD.
yeah, so it's internally about.
And it's such a stupid argument too, because either way doesn't matter. Like both companies are trying to screw you anyways. AMD raised their prices, Nvidia doesn't care about scalpers. Like it's all just a bunch of like it's all bullshit anyways. So
Yeah.
that's not and it's mostly like this chipset's better because of X, Y, and Z. That's not entertaining.
Yeah, no.
People don't want to
cover
see
that.
that. That's not entertaining.
Nah, that's not entertaining. But what you do cover is entertaining. One of your biggest fans is Colt Eastwood. He always shares your thing or clips some stuff that you share. He loves it. He loves your stuff.
I roasted that man when I first started.
It's good though. It's good. Fair enough. He can take it on the chin, and I think he invited you on the show as well because he likes you, and he has a stomach for it. Fair play to him. But in terms of fanboys, you cover Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo fanboys. Who would you say, if you have an answer to this, is the worst set of fanboys? There's only one right answer here, but yeah, let me hear it from you. Which is the worst fanboy?
Set?
Yeah.
I've seen Xbox fanboys pull guns on YouTube videos.
Guns on YouTube, as in to threaten people.
Yeah. I've also seen a PlayStation fanboy dox his place of employment, a patient's medical records.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
and do other horrible things. I mean, they're all bad. They're all bad. But I think right now, I think the ones that are the most fervent are the PlayStation ones. They're just the most vocal, and they're just the most ridiculous. Is really what it's come down to. Like before, when the Xbox One was coming out, that was like this whole thing, and then the Xbox One X, that was like, oh, this is better than a 1080, or was it 20? Yeah, better than a 1080. I remember that whole thing. And then I remember the Xbox Series X, this is better than a 2080. So like for Xbox fanboys, it's like, listen, let me explain to you how technology works. And then they get upset. But for PlayStation fanboys, it's just a whole other like, what are you doing? Like what are you doing with this? Like where did you think this was gonna go?
I am regularly astounded by, I would say, maybe I'm biased because I'm more of an Xbox guy, but I'm astounded by the stupidity of PlayStation fanboys to the point where I'm not complaining. Well, I've come to accept they give me free content. They give me free content for days. Xbox fanboys gave me content for days. Well, after the Source video, I don't know if you caught it, but we made fun of the Xbox fanboys who were damage controlling whatever's happening on Xbox, and I felt like we had to keep the same energy. But respect to you for keeping the same energy and unashamedly, without any filter, going after and using Aqua Teen Hunger Force of all things as a reference. Do you know how much of a G that makes you? Because I love Adult Swim. I love that. It's like very, very niche taste. So for you to do that, I appreciate that.
So I've had people say that, and what I try to do is I try to make the clip associate with what's happening.
And you do it well.
It's difficult to do because I have 11 seasons of content to go through. And I think about like, oh, what would be the best moment? Oh, that's right, when Master Shake wanted to sue somebody for the chain that would bring friends together. Yes, that'd be good for Quantum TV because he wants to sue people. So like just trying to find that content that'll match, you know, or things like that. That's like the harder part of like the editing process for me. Recording
that's not lost. That's what makes it so good, Alex. That's what even the one where like Colt shared it, where you like he said even Colt Eastwood roasted you guys, and then you had the the meatballs saying exactly on point. Love the content. I appreciate the artistic genius behind it, but it's really good. We're gonna get into the topics. I'm mindful of the fact that he might just fall asleep or pretend his internet's not working again. So I want to go straight into the topics. Randall Thor 19 with your anemic energy. I'm going to bring you back up to speed. Oh, here we go. Rand, we're here. Go live. Talk to me. Star Wars Jedi Survivor has been announced.
Really? You're gonna start this off with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Fallen Order 2?
Why not?
Okay.
Why?
Okay.
What do you mean? Why'd you take issue with that being brought up first?
I mean, you want energy, and all
right. Chat. Look, this is a hard game as a host. Just you have to keep people revitalized. Randall Thor 19 is being very difficult as a guest.
I'm not being difficult. I'm here to talk about whatever you want. You want to talk about the scar on your face? We could talk about that. We could talk about breakfast. We could talk about.
I'll talk about. Well, I clearly can't talk about Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Oh no, we could talk about. We could talk about that.
All right, let's talk about former Xbox exec says Game Pass makes.
Oh, there you go. That's an interesting one. That's interesting.
See, chat. We've appeased Randall Thor 19. Talk to me about this, Rand. Ed Freeze or Fries?
Well, set it up. I set it up. I need to know what he said. Asa.
I've got the quote in front of me, but Asa, do you want to?
Well, I'll help you with his name. His name is Freeze, Ed Freeze. You can read the quote out.
Ed Freeze. It sounds like a Mortal Kombat name. Well, in an interview with someone, Ed Freeze had said this. This is what he has said about Game Pass, which surprised everyone considering his history with Xbox. He says he is very concerned. It makes him nervous. He says because there's a somewhat analogous. How do you say that? How do you pronounce that?
Analogous?
Analogous. Oh, he was saying it wrong.
Or you want to do analogous.
Analogous?
Analogous it is.
Analogous.
There's somewhat an analogous thing called Spotify that was created for the music business. And when Spotify took off, he says, and it destroyed, his words, destroyed the music business. Oh, I didn't realize it was destroyed. I mean, and then he says it literally cut the annual revenue of the music business by half, and it made so people don't buy songs anymore.
Now,
so
this is a spicy topic, guys. This is very spicy.
It is spicy, like and I want to get your talk on it. Isn't that bullshit? It sounds like bullshit to me. Is the music industry dead?
It's 100% bullshit. It's 100% bullshit. Like, okay, did we not have Kazaa? Fucking LimeWire, Napster, all before Spotify, and you're gonna tell me Spotify killed the music industry? No, you know what killed the music industry? The music industry, charging $20 per CD in 1980 and 1990, when it's like $50 today for a 12-song track and 12-song album of an artist that you only want 2 songs from anyway, so the 2 songs you only listen to, and then the whole the music industry died. No, in fact, it's grown because there are so many more artists out there nowadays that actually can put out albums, that can put out tracks that get big and popular because they don't have to kowtow to the actual music industry.
Fact.
You know, that's the dumbest argument you could possibly actually make.
Well, it's also one that doesn't apply to gaming or Game Pass in general. Like, Ed Freeze, I understand like the idea of like you have Game Pass, which is very disruptive, hasn't been done before, right? So it's like you don't know the effects, right? All this stuff, but like when you actually look at Spotify and you look at Game Pass, I don't really think they're comparable because like Spotify is literally every song in existence is on the service. So it's like, why wouldn't you subscribe? Why wouldn't you get it? You get like literally everything. Game Pass at most has like 300 games, right? Nobody in their right mind is thinking to themselves that literally every single game that is ever going to release is going to be on Game Pass, right? Yeah, and we've talked about how Game Pass needs big AAA games. You know, like with the delay of Redfall and Starfield, people are wondering what game Microsoft is going to go to try to get their service. But nobody really expects Gotham Knights or, Harry Potter or Callisto Project or any of the other big AAA games to launch in a Game Pass day one. And then the services aren't even comparable because with Spotify, it's just, I can listen to these songs for free and all I gotta like listen to is ads here and there, or I can pay a monthly fee to get out without ads. So with Xbox, you either subscribe to the service, but then games have DLC, games have microtransactions, there are full game sales. Like, the business models for both of these things couldn't be more different, right? So I kind of feel that this is sort of just like, this is just like someone just trying to like, he's like, well, you know, I'm concerned, and I think some of these people that are like saying this like want to be the ones out there, and if it does kind of change the industry or reduce revenues, they can be like, well, I said it back in 2018.
Yeah.
I was out there saying this wasn't a good thing. But have we seen like Xbox revenue is like higher than it's ever been ever? So even with Game Pass, they're still selling more games than ever and selling more microtransactions than ever. So it's like, I don't really see the comparison between the two. But Alex, I'm not a PC guy, but I do recall there was a point in time years ago when Steam was doing their crazy Steam sales. I could have sworn I remembered that there were articles and journalists being, these sales are gonna kill full game retail sales on Steam. Like, it's gonna destroy the industry.
Yeah.
And then it didn't.
Do you want
you know what I mean?
Who sets the prices in those sales?
Publishers.
The fucking publishers set the prices. So if they can afford to sell me a game for $4.99, guess how much that game should cost all the time, ladies and gentlemen? $4.99. It shouldn't cost any more than that.
Yeah.
Like, period. Like, honestly, this whole like, and here's my thing that just fucking incinerates me. Oh, how's cursing on this channel? Can we do that?
You can yell out. You can, yeah, go for it.
Okay, yeah. Okay. I don't fucking care about a company's revenues. I don't. I give zero shits. I don't.
Okay.
I don't care who publishes it. I don't care who makes it. All I care about is the game fun? If the game's not fun, I give no fucks. I do not care. Everything else is irrelevant to me because all I am is a consumer. I'm here to consume the product and nothing more, nothing less. I'm not investing myself in anything. I'm not here to invest myself. People who say like, oh, you invest in a console? No, you stupid dummy. You buy the console, which is the product, and you play the product. The only thing you've invested is the $500 they took from you because that box wasn't worth $500 to fucking begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And so this whole behavior of pocket watching a multi-trillion, multi-billion-dollar corporation is absolutely fucking absurd. It's fucking absurd. And you know he's okay. Oh, it killed the music industry. No, fuck off.
But that's a factually incorrect statement.
It's a fact. And not only that, if this guy wanted his way, games would cost $100.
PlayStation
that's
fans
the kind of guy.
Happy with that.
That's the kind of guy who wants to sit there and charge you more money for the same or less product, because all he cares about is pushing the line on revenue. That's all he cares about. But all I care about is the product good.
So I take that point on board, and I take on board what David Jaffe has said. Is ultimately, why do you care as a consumer? But as pundits in the space, Acer, we have to enthuse about it. Maybe the revenue has some utility in for us assessing the health of the industry, the publisher, because also we don't want good devs to tank and not be able to create, like Sony says, oh, we'd have to pare down the scope of our games if you put it on services. What's your take on Ed Freeze's thing? And just to make it long in trademark fashion as I introduce it to you, because you are a man with many brain cells, I will add an additional thing, and I want to hear your thoughts on it. He says, so we have to be careful we don't create the same system in the game business. I saw the games industry destroy itself in the early 80s. I saw educational software destroy itself in the mid 90s. That's what he's talking about. So Game Pass makes me nervous. As a consumer, I love it. I love Spotify as a customer. I have all the songs I'd ever want. It's a great deal as a customer, but it isn't necessarily great for the industry. And I cannot.
Wait, didn't the industry kill itself in the 80s because of quality control?
And
wasn't like it was like a whole bunch of crap games that came out that destroyed consumer confidence in the product? Wasn't that the reason?
Hence the whole Nintendo seal of quality being created. The only reason that seal came out is because Nintendo said the game works.
Yeah.
That's it. There's
History
no
lesson.
quality in the game. It's the game says, oh, it works on our system. That's the whole reason for that seal.
Yeah.
Because there were games that just did not work, period.
So I don't understand where the similitude is, but Asa, apologies. What's your take on Ed Freeze?
So the
Is he a
similitude
pizza?
there,
No, it's not.
always saying on the 80s and the education industry, is that these big industries that we know and trust are actually a bit volatile. They are fragile, and things can take them down faster than you might expect. Running it alongside Spotify and Netflix or any other industry is difficult because we know that games are different. Games aren't music. Games aren't TV. They've got DLC and add-ons and entirely different revenue models all over the place. But there aren't any other parallels like gaming done as a subscription before in that way either. So you can see why people look at other industries and try and chart what's going to happen next. I don't agree with him that it's going to destroy the industry for the reasons that he says. I do think everybody should always remain slightly skeptical of where big corporations want games to go. But for me, it's always the only thing that I look at with Game Pass. Right now, Game Pass is great. Loads of big executives are weary of it, and they have their reasons, and they obviously want their money. But games, the way that they sell at the moment, you've got like the retail model where a game costs like 70 quid for Sony or whatever, and you've got the mobile industry where games are free and they get loads of people and they nickel and dime the hell out of them. And I just think everybody needs to keep an eye on where Game Pass sits on that spectrum. Like,
I agree.
Keep an eye on it and just make sure you keep Microsoft kind of honest, because games were really good for the last 2 decades. Really good. Let's just keep them that way, and then I'm happy.
Very well said. I agree with you completely. I said this before and just don't want to save that because it's based on a lot of what, believe it or not, I listen to you, Asa. And I think your take is the most sensible one. And in that, I will not exonerate Game Pass as this all amazing thing that's impervious to any kind of critique, or that something that will not result in the dilution of quality of games. It's something to keep an eye on. But I just don't agree with Ed Freeze or his logic here. If he substantiated it more, then maybe perhaps I would be like, all right, Ed Freeze is saying it. What's his take on it? But when I read the justification for it, it didn't marry up because of the reason you said. Gaming is very different. In fact, Phil Spencer went out of his way when he sat down with Sarah Bond. He explicitly said, look, to differentiate it from Netflix, he said, look, I see a lot of this Netflix stuff, but it's not we don't see it that way. We'll definitely look at the hardware sales or the hard copy sales as well. We have that avenue as well. It's not an exclusive model. So
the thing that Ed Freeze did say, and I don't know if it's true or not, he said that the music industry is making half as much as it was in terms of revenue since streaming services came along. Yeah. Which, if you can substantiate that and say that that's true, and I've got no idea, I don't follow the music industry in that way, but if revenue in that industry is halved, again, games aren't music, but you can understand like people steering the industry would have that as a flag to be careful of.
Having known some people in the music industry, I will tell you one thing. One, people in the music industry, a lot of them are pricks. Two, the music industry is run by pricks. And three, record labels are notorious. But the point is, Spotify actually shifted the balance away from the big record labels to make it so the discoverability of better younger artists or more, less, it basically, like the SoundCloud artists, you saw a boom of that. It shifted that away from the big numbers and you don't understand, for my work, how corrupt the music industry is. It is rotten down to the point where it trickles down and forces people in the industry to adopt a state that is so toxic if you think gaming industry is bad. But I digress. But ultimately, what streaming did was gave loads of people a limelight, and that's the similitude I will draw with the games industry, where you see so many indies saying, like you had Mike Rose, man, he's a publisher, he runs a publishing outfit, but he's more indie outfit. And he said, amazing, like Game Pass has been great for developers, for indie developers especially. I'm not saying Ed Freeze is completely wrong.
You know what's interesting? I just found an article that says streaming drives global music streaming drives global music industry resurgence. and it's basically how streaming has lifted the music industry back to the original revenue levels to 2001. Because I'm looking at a chart here. So the revenue in 2001 for music was right around 25 billion, right? And when Spotify launched in 2011, that revenue had dropped down to like 18. And according to this, the music industry bottomed out in 2014 when revenue was at a 20-year low of 14.2 billion. But judging from this, 2021 saw it actually resurge, reach a 20-year high at the 26 billion. So in actuality, according to this, the music industry has never made more money.
It's actually thriving.
I don't know. I mean, at least according to this.
Anyone dare say the music industry is dead? No, thanks for that, Brandon.
You just said like a low of what, like 22 billion?
So it was like 25. It was 25 billion in 2001, and then in 2014 it hit a 20-year low to 14 billion.
Oh no! We went from 20 billion to 14 billion. Oh no! What could happen next?
A resurgence. It's dead. Music is dead. You can't hear music anymore. It's all classics now. Everything is classed as classics.
Yeah, and in 2021, total worldwide music revenues totaled 25.9 billion, which is marks the seventh consecutive year growth for the global music industry after nearly 2 decades of gradual decline. So, judging from this, it seems that streaming actually saved the revenue. So I don't know what to think. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
it's definitely pulls the rug out from his argument, doesn't it? Like, because the whole thing was
imagine
the revenue
being
drop.
mad about still being in the billions in a corporation in an industry. Right?
I mean,
when you're in the billions, and once you get like to a certain level, money is just there. It doesn't doesn't fuck. It's just funny.
It's just I DM'd you the link so you can look at it. You know, because sometimes you got to fact check. Because I was curious to myself, like, is this really true? Is the music industry's revenue really? I know like some artists don't make as much money as before because Spotify doesn't pay out that well, but it's like, you know, I was just like, this is really true. And like the first article here is like how it's doing better than ever. So I mean, I guess I don't know.
Statista has actually launched that, and they've done that. You can't.
There's even another article here with $15 billion in revenue. 2021 was the U.S. record industry's biggest year ever. Kind of.
Music industry is dead, everyone. It's dead. It's nonsense. But yeah, no, great fact checking there. I'm looking at that article now, and yeah, obviously not much time to sit down and really get into the nitty gritty of those facts. But I'm looking at the stats now, and it's from Statista. We'll have to look into it. But I think generally, even as pundits and a cursory glance at the way this landscape is and how it's functioning, the music industry is not dead. I will say, though, it took a hit in the last 2 years because of COVID. That caused a massive disruption to the music industry, to the point where musicians, I dealt with this firsthand. They were advised by the government not to diversify, get something, because they couldn't do the shows. There's a big heavy reliance on things like shows. But streaming services, I have a client who absolutely skyrocketed during the music industry massively because of COVID, and 100% streaming services, 100% streaming to YouTube and Spotify. That's where his revenue is. So it's complete nonsense, but we're going to keep seeing this because Game Pass is, and the word is disruptive, in my opinion, to the traditional model. You're going to have, rightly or wrongly or whatever, this kind of conversation happening, and we keep seeing it's a feature of this. Let me read these super chats. Face with a very generous $20 super chat. Face 23 BKNY goes, starting to see games not being cross-gen. Jedi Survivor, Gotham Knights. Do you think we'll see developers stop supporting PS4 and Xbox One in 2023? That's an excellent question. And there's another game that's not doing that. That's not cross-gen. What was it, Asa? That was announced this week. I apologize for being in the spot. Do you know? What was it? Chat, let me know, chat. You guys are smart. Purple Tree Frog, he always gets things right. Maybe he's there. But answering the question, Alex, my view is cross-gen sucks. I get it, silicon shortage, but I'm so sick of this. I know you're a PC gamer guy, but I want my Series X to really push the muscles. I don't care about the scalability. I think that's nonsense. So talk to me. When do you think
Series X is actually already outdated, so I don't know why you guys are talking like that.
Oh, jeez. But
You know
even
that,
the
right?
Series
Like,
X,
your,
if
your
you
Series X is a 2060, so I don't even know what we're
Dude,
trying
don't
to
you talk
discuss.
about my console like that, Alex.
I don't even know what we're trying to discuss.
Sorry,
You know, it's like, what is it, a 6700 XT at the most?
For all that,
Yeah,
ignore that. Just look at the
Comparative.
Jaguar processors in the Xbox One and the
yeah.
PlayStation 4, and we'll go from there.
Yes. So I mean, look, it's would it be nice to take the entire power of the consoles together and say, hey, look, you know, here's what we're going to be doing? Sure, but you know, in all reality, right? You have when you're designing games, even for PC, you have to have a floor, right? What is your minimum that this game is going to run on? Right, and then you design around that minimum, and then you scale up from there. So the best game to do this of all time was actually Crysis 1. Crysis had a minimum, and then Crysis even today scales incredibly well, like which is super wild. I think the best game to do that in this generation, or even after Crysis, is going to be Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal has a phenomenal floor, but the ceiling that they've created for Doom Eternal is unmatched. Like that game can run on a toaster, and it can also run on like dual 3090s and whatever you want to throw at it, and it's just going to do whatever it wants. And it's probably one of the best games, not only gameplay wise. I mean, I'm a Doom Eternal fanboy.
Game.
I'll talk about that game for years.
Love that game.
But just that game across the board has done something incredible in every conceivable way. If id doesn't touch it, I don't want to play it. I've made the statement that Halo should be given to id and taken away
That's
from
why I
Halo
love
3.
you. Facts.
I've made that statement multiple times, and I'm going to stick by that statement. And I think too that it's when you move the floor up, then things go up from there. But it really depends what you're looking for. Are you looking for graphics? Is that what you're talking about? Or are you looking for AI? Or are you looking for different ways of games going to play? Because they could just say, okay, we're just going to do ray tracing and fuck off, you know?
Yeah.
And that's bloated as shit, and that's a fucking meme. So what do you want out of these consoles is really the question. Everyone's going to say, oh, my graphics, that's great, but I want better AI. I want better enemy reaction. I want to play a game like Fear.
Oh man,
Right, where
fear.
where you were like, oh god, this guy's throwing a table at me, like what the shit, you know?
I mean,
also,
Fear's
chat,
AI holds up right now, even.
yes,
Yeah.
holds up. Fear's AI right now destroys many first-person shooters today, this day and age. And look, I'm gonna shill for these guys because, I'm gonna be honest. I'm in communication with the devs. They're phenomenal guys. But my personal recommendation, if you want a Fear sequel, Trepang 2. It's on Steam.
Sorry, what?
Check out Trepang, Trepang 2.
Trepang 2.
That
Okay, let me check.
that game is going to have a demo in a couple of weeks out. I'm going to do a video on it. But this game has been something that is just, it floors me every single time. I'm in communication with the composer. He's a great guy. It's a 3-man team. They've been working on it for 6 years. You know, if I talk about a first-person shooter, I think you should listen.
No, you have very similar taste to me. The fact that you mentioned Fear alone has got me intrigued. Why did you mention Trepang 2? And this
Because
is a sequel to the game.
it's a sort of like a spiritual successor.
To Fear?
Yeah.
Does that why put the number 2 in there?
Not really. You'll see when you play the game, but it's something
okay.
that is just, it's an absolutely phenomenal game.
Acer's
like I said, it's
expertly brought. Oh my god, it does look like Fear. Even the shotgun looks like. Why this game? I think I've seen this footage before, by the way.
So it's on PC only, but
okay.
it's just something that's just phenomenal across the board. So stuff like that, you know? Yeah. So like, what do you want your games to look like? What do you want your games to be like? You know, do you want AI? Do you want graphics? Do you want all these other things? Or do you want the developers to do what they want to do? And I think that's super important to ask that question because, like I said, yeah, we just throw ray tracing on it and be done with it and get 30 FPS again. Who wants that?
Great.
Nobody.
You know, great point. That's a great point. And Face, thank you so much for asking that question. Rand, Alex brings up a great point. I could answer this a multitude of different ways about what do we actually want from next gen only? What do you think about cross gen being extended? Are you frustrated by it? And what would you think? What do you want a fully proper next gen game to do? What are you actually frustrated about? You're a man of dissent.
Wasn't frustrated about it because this is how these things always happen. The devs don't really take full advantage of the console's power or whatever it's doing until later in the generation. I mean, you go back to the 360, you look at the launch titles, and then you look at the games that came out at the end. And
I would argue the launch titles actually hit the ground running. You had
There's
Project
some launch
Gotham
titles there that wouldn't
Blue
run on the previous gen for sure.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying, but then you look at like, you know, your BioShock Infinites and your Last of Us and stuff. It was clear that like from 2005 to 2013, it got much better. And the same thing with the Xbox One. It's not surprising. It's not surprising that cross-gen lasted this long. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a business, right? So it's like these companies need to make their money, so they're going to sell their games to as many people as possible. 2023 was always when I thought it would start to
2023. Okay.
Move away from it. 2 years in, or 3 years in, or whatever. I mean, what I wanted out of this gen was just a simple basic thing. I wanted 60 frames to be the standard moving forward. I know Alex will laugh because he's all 120 FPS or 2040 FPS or whatever. I just wanted. Look,
we're at 144 now.
I know what you're at. I know what you're at. But I'm just a console peasant, Alex. You know what I mean? So moving from the Xbox One X, when you got to play some of those games at performance mode at 60, and then you would play them back and forth, I'd be like, why would anybody play any of these games at 30 frames? It's disgusting, right? So it's like, I want the baseline to be 60 frames. And then, if you can do better stuff with AI, it's just like whatever you can put on top of that is just better. But like, it better be 60 frames. If I don't want ray tracing at 30, but like, so for me, like all I've cared about was like frame rate being like the most important thing, and then you can go from there. So I mean, if you want everything, play on PC, So
no, I see. Okay,
no, PC's closed. No, PC's closed. No.
PC is closed? No. You can't do it?
PC is closed. You cannot buy a GPU. You cannot buy a CPU. I'm not letting you. I will literally stop you.
I'm buying a pre-built. I'm buying a pre-built tomorrow, Alex. So
why would you do that to
me.
yourself?
You can't stop me.
That's one of the worst decisions you could make.
I'm going to get a 3090, and I'm going to get...
I can't wait till you burn down your house when you turn it on. That's going to be hilarious to me. Just no, PC's closed. Like I see some people come to PC and they're just like, this is not what I expected, and it's never going to be. It's not something that, unless you're looking for a specific PC experience, it's getting closer to a console-like experience across the board, absolutely, with things like Steam Big Picture and things like that. But it's almost like watching, it's like watching Twitch and watching YouTube live streams. You can just always watch a YouTube live stream because you're always on YouTube. But when you go to Twitch, there's always a barrier to entry when you go to Twitch. You need extensions, you need certain things, you got to sub to the channel if you want emotes. Like there's all these different barriers when you go into Twitch and then like there's always like a meme culture with that specific streamer that you have to understand. I'm not saying you can't do it. Well, I am saying you can't do it. What I'm saying is don't do it. Don't, because look, I'm sick and tired of looking. Yes, 100%. I don't want $70 games on PC. I don't want subscription services on. I don't want paying for online on PC. I don't want like console ports on PC. Like don't. Like the only reason why I want PlayStation games on PC is so I can make videos. That's the only reason why I want it on there. Everything else, don't even come near.
You also love the fact that they cry about it.
Well, yeah. So look, I double dip, right? They cry about it, so I make the content on that, and then the game comes out and they do the port review, so I make content on that too.
Yeah, but now they're threatening that the PS5 is going to be their last console, and then they're just going to move to PC.
They'll never fully move. You know what they do? I tell you this every time, Rand. They buy a pre-built. Okay, Rand. Here's what they do. It's like fucking clockwork, my friend. They're like, I'm just gonna go on PC because I don't gotta pay for online. And I don't gotta do all this stuff. And then they realize, oh, I can't do Sony party chats. I've never used Discord before. I don't know how Steam works. What's a driver? Oh, I bought all this thing. I bought a pre-built, and I'm just gonna turn it on and just plug it and play. Right? That's all it's gonna be, baby. And then they're just like, hey. I'm going to make content with it. And they sort of like fall into their own selves of how they're going to spend $4,000 on a PC, brag about how they spent $4,000 on a PC that has like an i7 3600K. You know, it's not even a real CPU. I just made it up. And then they're going to be like, oh, here's this money I spent. Look at it. Look how much money I spent. Isn't that great? And then then they're like, why can't I run this game at 4K 144 FPS like everybody tells me I can? And it's like, well,
I've got 16 cores and Norton is using all of them.
Yeah, Alex, what's a good antivirus? Don't click the link. That's a good antivirus. You know.
Oh, but it's fact. It's a cyclical logic. They will do that. They'll get burnt by it. PC sucks. Back to console, and it'll be the cycle all over again. But then I'm impacted because I'm like, let me buy a GPU. Oh, by the way, chip shortage. You can't. It's twice the price now. And I'm like, oh, look what happened. This console fanboy bought a PC, and he's willing to spend it, and I'm not. Like, I think the miners outweigh the very vocal fanboys.
Oh, absolutely. I just want to find a mining farm with a giant magnet and just walk by it.
It's like a good shout. Just wipe out all the PCs, but I think that would have to involve you frequenting other places around the globe. I don't know what the mining market. Anyway, I'll digress. I could talk about crypto for ages and how I got bad by it, but
it's a scam. It
is a scam.
It's a scam.
I can tell from my bank balance, it's 100% a scam. So, yeah. But Face, thank you for that chat. It's very good. I like talking about what constitutes what you think is good next gen. Asa, I know I've asked you this. We've touched on this before. But on the question of 2023, do you think that's realistically when we would say goodbye to cross-gen?
No, because Sony have said 2025. And I'll say...
They did.
They have, but it's kind of right. Like, I don't think games should ditch the previous generation for the sake of ditching it. They should ditch it if their design and scope is held back by the previous generation. That's what everyone wants to see. If you've got this hardware, much as Alex will tell you, the GPU is like not cutting edge. It's not, but the processor compared to the previous generation of consoles, the SSD compared to the previous generation of consoles, games can do more than they have been. So I didn't really like the previous generation of consoles. The PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One generation was pain to me, and I was on PC all the way there. I was already on the 60 frames per second and above. I had like 4 graphics cards in the PC, and that hardware offered me nothing, and I hated it. I hated those Jaguar cores for that because they were a massive hindrance. So of course now we've got these new consoles and these potentially new baselines, even the Xbox Series S that some people think is going to hold things back. No, order of magnitude better than those previous generation consoles. So if you're making a big budget game and you've got the ambition to make it do new things, do new AI, do new physics, and just blow out the scope of anything that you've done before, please do it soon. Yes, we'll see some of those in 2023. Yes, we'll see cross-gen games in 2023 and beyond as well, because if it makes sense for your game, you're obviously going to go to the bigger audience.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying to artificially, do it for the sake of it, but I do feel like if more people make the jump, then mentally a lot of other devs are all right. That's kind of cascading effect now. Everyone's really
looking forward to the devs, though. Very little of that is a dev decision. Like, devs can pitch it to their publisher, but publishers will be purely looking at the numbers and saying, well, no, you've got to make Gran Turismo 7 cross-gen now, sod your tyre physics and making the driving better.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that we would talk about indies as these smaller band devs, but I feel like they're going to lead the charge. Like you mentioned, what was that game, man? It was so weird. It's such a weird name, Alex. Whatever, the Fear 2 wannabe. Whatever, Fear, what's it called? Oh, you just mentioned it.
Trepang 2.
Wannabe. Trepang 2.
Trepang 2.
Trepang 2. Trepang 2. Please. Excuse me, sir. You don't want to be these guys, okay?
No, I'm just playing. And I do want to chat to them because that's the kind of game I love. I will reach out to the Devil 7 Steel, which I need to do a video on, because I want to do a video on obscure games that no one's ever heard of, which is really has a utility in a space that's so saturated. But yeah, shout out to Shabs Inevitable with a £5 super chat. Goes, this for a thigh slap from Alex. Great guess as usual. Happy birthday. Look at that, guys. Super chat just to see you thigh slap. Surely can slap your thighs a little bit. Come on, get us with the meat, or an Arab say
I usually go in. So how do you like? Okay, if you want to see some thigh slapping, in a few hours after this, I live stream.
Oh, just do it.
Just go to my live stream, first of all, on my channel. But I tell you what, boy, look at that. Meat!
You get a preview. Oh!
Meat!
Lamb. Yes. Shabs? Are you not entertained? Almost choked on my own spit there. Danny Passion Official, thank you so much for the $2 super chat, guys. $70 per 18-month-old game. Alex is 100% right when you were talking about, what's happening, and you do not want that to migrate in the PC space. Not like the PC crowd would even tolerate that. No chance of that happening. I like the fact that the PC crowd are quite staunch in there. Don't take the piss, or we will pirate your game.
That's the fun part about it. It's like, oh, is this what you want to do? Is this where you want to go? You want to use Denuvo?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to go in the Epic Store? I hope they pay. Like, it's like that. And they do. Sure, great. Thank you. I want to say thank you to Epic for that free copy. You guys are great for supporting the channel. I appreciate the effort you guys put in, and the developers are taken care of. Everybody's happy. Great. Like perfect.
Yeah, PC gamers won't tolerate that, and that's what I like about the PC crowd. Even though every contingent has its own toxic traits, that is one of the positive ones that I want to seep into the console space. Hoggy Channy with a very generous $20 super chat. Shout out Hoggy. He goes, to give you more of Ed's perspective, Ed Freeze, his fear is that the indie space may end up having a few subservices to be the only I've misread that. His fear is that in the indie space, we may end up having a few subservices be the only place players go for indie games instead of buying them. If you're not there, you could lose out. That's a great point about the fact that, and this is a future kind of thing. I think we espoused this before, didn't we, Asa? What's the future landscape of games?
Not necessarily future landscape when you consider Fury as an example and their DLC. So there is evidence that may be a problem already. And it's, again, like time's going to tell, and there are other platforms as well. Obviously, Game Pass isn't on the Switch, which is a massive home for indies at the moment, and Steam players are still buying plenty of indie games. So, yeah. But yeah, it's a good point, Huggy. That is a thing.
That is absolutely. Whilst indies are developing, prospering potentially now, there may be a ticking time bomb there, but thank you for that. Alex Mercer, the prototype. Nice to see you. Thank you for the $2 super check. Doom Eternal is dope as falafel. Same with Wolfenstein 2, which is the game I'm playing now, not Apex Legends Rand. You sit there silently judging me. I'm playing that, and Dealer was telling me you need to play this game. The story's amazing, and it's crazy. Not the story's mad. Chabs Inevitable, thank you for the £2 super chat. He's dropped another code for Godfall Ultimate. Who plays Godfall? I don't know, but someone has to claim that stream key. No one gets that code. Shab's very generous of you to do that. Thank you so much. You don't need to, but I appreciate it. And Doobie saying happy birthday. Sake. It's not my birthday. And so shout out to you. Why didn't you play with us last night? What were you playing last night? What's he talking about? Did you play games with Splendor first, Asa? I don't know what he's talking about.
No.
You may be playing with Dylan. Them are playing Zombie. I was out last night. Not getting punched up, although that would have been a better story than this. Just to double end the... I'm not going to talk about Kotaku because that sucks. That's bullshit. Anyway, let's go to the next topic. And I want to touch about this Rand. I hope this is spicy enough for you, okay? In your lofty standards, Mr. Mayonnaise chat on Xbox.
Well, you're the one that wants energy.
I want your energy. That's a no.
Oh, you can have my energy,
non-negotiable. So let's have this energy. Let's talk to me about how
Hashtag
Xbox.
blame Rand.
I will hashtag blame Rand, not Alex. How Xbox turned down Marvel's offer to make exclusive games.
I already talked about this yesterday.
What does this look like Xbox 2 to
I
you?
gotta repeat myself again 2 days in a row.
Okay. Well, it's,
All right. I got you. Okay. So, head of Marvel Games in 2014 was like, we don't like how our games suck with Activision. So they mutually agreed to terminate the contract, and they're like, hey, we want to make some cool games, but we're free right now. Let's partner up with somebody. So they went to Activision. So they went to Microsoft and Sony, and Microsoft said, nah, we're good. We're going to focus on our own IPs. And then Sony was like, we might be interested. And obviously the rest was history. So I talked about it yesterday. And I think this was just one of those cases of wrong time, wrong place. Because 2014 Xbox was... I mean, Matrix still running it, but he's got his foot out the door and he's gone. Phil comes in, first-time executive, right, head, but, like, Terry Myerson's still in control of the vision with the Iron Fist. That was at the point where they also, like, the Xbox One was clearly going to be a underperforming console. The budgets were slashed, so it doesn't strike me as odd that they would have passed on a Marvel game, considering also that, I only have 5 studios, so who's going to make it? Turn 10? Coalition's on Gears, 4 at the time. 343 was on Halo 5 at the time. Mojang does Minecraft. And they have all their other little partnerships with games in development from Remedies and all that stuff. So, like, I get the decision mainly because it was just, at that time, Xbox was not in a good place. I think if you would circle back and if, like, Marvel came to them today, I think the decision would be completely different.
Yeah.
But I also think, like, if they came to Xbox in 2011 when they were building games and their portfolio for what next gen would have been, I do think at that point they would have said yes, because they could have actually, there would have been, because at that point there was investment, they were making games for the next generation. But it's just 2014, you're at that moment in time where it was like, yeah, no, we just don't have the money for it because budgets are slashed all across the division and stuff. So, like, I totally get why they didn't do it. It sucks for fans, but it's like, it is what it is, man.
It is, absolutely. It's like, that's the bet Microsoft had made. It can only, they weren't all in on gaming like Satya Nadella then announced. But on that topic, Alex, I know you're a PC guy primarily, but there's this argument that Xbox desperately needs a superhero kind of game because PlayStation has that covered with Wolverine and Spider-Man. What do you think about that? Do you think Xbox right now desperately needs that game, or nah? What do you think? What's your take on
content?
Just need straight content.
They just need content. Doesn't matter what it is. They just need content. You'd be a great fit for Xbox. Punisher.
Ooh, that's a sick
Punisher
synergy.
would be like one of the best fits for Xbox. Are you
That'd be
kidding
sick,
me?
actually. Shooter,
sick.
violent.
Daredevil would be perfect too.
Black Panther, X-Men.
Black Panther. You couldn't. I don't think
X-Men.
X-Men you could do.
Yeah, sure. You could do X-Men. Why couldn't you?
I think they're like a licensing thing. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Well, if that's the case,
That's probably why. That's the only thing I would think of.
Spawn.
Because I think like
Spawn
Fox
always had an
and stuff.
association with Xbox. But, yeah.
Spawn, you could do like just anything. Like doesn't matter what it is, just content.
Punisher's
But, like
a good
pick
shout,
content
though.
that fit. But Punisher would be a phenomenal get if they did a great, like a gritty, dark, Punisher game, and they just, they've got all the people for it. They could have id do it. They could have everybody do. It could be like I think
id
what Xbox
Machine
needs-
Games, fucking Coalition could do it.
Anybody could do it,
Ooh,
right?
yeah.
It's a simple fucking win, dude. Just on the
That's a
chat,
good
Deadpool
point.
could be an easy win, right? But
Deadpool,
Deadpool already had a game.
yeah.
That was a licensing issue with Deadpool. But I think like they just need content. right?
Somebody
And, like,
green. And Alex Mercer with the $2 super chat goes, Hulk, Ultimate Destruction by Radical for Series X. Something green.
I'm not really.
It doesn't have to be green, but
know.
like if you look at Xbox,
tech.
like who is Xbox's core market?
Like
Dude bros.
the traditional
Like, dude bros.
It's a bit
dude
broader
bro.
than that now, arguably, but the ultimate
Sure.
core is still that. That's why Gears has synergy.
Where
That's
is
why
the
Punisher makes
game?
sense.
Make games for the dude bro and then expand it out so everybody else can get into it.
Yeah.
That's what Sony does. They make games for that third person cover-based action adventure stealth elements core, and then they just broaden it out so everybody else can get into it too. Oh, you want to play Uncharted but you don't want to die one bullet? Here's the story mode for that. You can just play that mode. There you go. Enjoy the game. Like it's that same concept. Just build to your core and then expand out. But they're not even doing that. Like Conker's Bad Fur Day would be the easiest W for Xbox ever made.
Yeah, but Rare doesn't want to go back and do any of their old IPs.
That'd be the easiest W for Conker's Bad Fur Day. Like another easy one, like just off the top of my head, like another easy one would be like, what's another good Xbox IP that they had?
Don't say brute force, because that was never
not
good.
brute force.
Crimson Skies? Nah,
Crimson
that's a bit
Sky.
niche.
Honestly, you could do a lot of stuff with Crimson Sky. Like
Lightweight.
look at the Ace Combat series.
Yeah, no, but
That's
that's a bit
huge.
I would love it. I would
Ace Combat
personally
is
love it.
huge. But if you do
Yeah.
like a good sky-based game shooter, like you know what Sony sleeps on all the time that I get mad about is stuff like Warhawk.
Oh, Warhawk!
They just sleep on it.
Lost in the
They
past.
just sleep on it. Warhawk, you can just come back, do Warhawk, and just fuck shit up all day long. You know,
Absolutely, but their live
Legend of
service
Dragoon,
focus-
they sleep on. They close on the Japan studios, like all kinds of stuff. They could just like great stuff that they don't want to go back to. Jet Moto, they could bring back for PlayStation. How great would that be? Like all kinds of stuff, but they just don't. You know, like just go to that back catalog, bring back some shit that nobody fucking thinks about anymore. That you could revamp to a new gen.
Yeah,
Like that's,
I mean,
they just
Dead
need
Planet.
content. Doesn't matter what it is, just any content.
Dead Planet actually nails it. I never thought of it this way. Conker could be Xbox's R-rated Mario. I mean, that's what it was a platformer that was R-rated, but I never saw it that way. A grown-up platformer that would, appeal to the core. But
the X-Bros want Banjo to come back, not Conker.
I don't know
Banjo.
what it is with
Okay,
Banjo.
but look. All right, hot take. Ready?
I'm ready.
Banjo Kazooie is better than Mario 64.
You.
Wow.
I'm right. I'm right. I'm right.
What?
I'm right.
What?
I'm right.
Dead Planet. what
Banjo
the-
Kazooie
That's
is a
what
better
they do.
game than Mario 64. I'm fucking right.
I'm
I'm
just
right.
sitting here like I don't like either of those.
I know you were thinking that.
That's impossible. It's
Oh
impossible
my
to not
god,
like
chat,
Banjo
you
Kazooie.
agree with him? You agree with him? You betraying. How is. Never mind. Never mind. I'm not going to die on this hill because. Wow. Alex, everyone is agreeing with it. Wow. Sucks to be me. Oh my god, I thought he said he's going to be wrong. No, he's not wrong. All right, fine. Okay, never mind. Banjo will have some utility, and we're hearing some rumors I have read on Resetra and stuff. I don't know if Resetra can be trusted, but Banjo remake is being done by Double Fine,
That's
even though
not
apparently
true.
that's not true. Is it bullshit? Oh, okay.
That's
I
the
don't know.
last company I want touching Banjo.
Why?
I fucking hate Double Fine.
What? You are so. Oh my god! Double Fine. Double Fine are brilliant. Why
I
would you not
fucking
like
hate.
that? How
I
could you
hate Tim
hate
Schafer
that?
so fucking much. I hate that
What?
guy.
Why? What's that?
I
What
hate
did he
that
ever
guy.
do to you, Alex?
I am
He's-
intrigued.
You know how like a lot of indie developers get really up their own fucking ass about shit.
Yeah.
So like the creator of Fez did that, right?
Oh, that guy
was like, "Oh,
being a
Japanese
dick."
games suck
Oh,
'cause of
I
whatever.
remember that press conference. Wow, what? And he was sitting next to who? The guy who made Braid, and he was being a dick as well. What was
Yeah.
his name?
It's just up his own ass. Tim Schafer's just up his own ass. He doesn't know how to like
just like
fucking
that. I don't-
manage
I don't
money.
know. I mean,
He did Fig,
nice
and
guy.
that was a fucking disaster. He just stole money from people. Like just.
he delivered a good game.
Then he
Oh,
was
but
all
you're
like,
entitled to
"Oh."
opinion.
Then he was like, "Gamergate, oh, to scare gamers." Like that whole thing. Get the fuck out of here. I don't want to hear that shit.
I'll profess not to knowing much about him, but I think Psychonauts, which I was really going to go back to complete, was a great game, very good game. But wow, I didn't even know what the original topic was. I think it was a super chat. The super chats are dominating the convos this time because they're quite interesting. I have a lot to talk about as well. Acer, Banjo-Kazooie, what the hell was I talking about? No, we were talking about what Xbox desperately needs.
We were talking about Marvel. Yeah.
And you know what? That's morphed into this, but I'm going to bring it back to Marvel. And then we have to, it's a run up to bloody Xbox showcase event. I'm getting it from the neck from some hardcore Xbox fanboys. What are you doing? Shut up. I want to know what Xbox actually has to do to deliver a good show. I'm not talking to the mindless apologists who will suck up to anything to make any excuse. But Acer, Marvel, Xbox turned them down because to make exclusive games. So you've seen this. What's your take on it? Rand had a good take on it. They didn't have the facilities then. Do you think there's utility now for Xbox to have a superhero game?
The most wild part of it for me is that what actually ended up happening is that Sony obviously made Spider-Man. Sony didn't make Spider-Man. Insomniac made Spider-Man. Sony didn't have the resources or studios to make Spider-Man. Sony just said yes and arranged for a third party to make Spider-Man. So, like, things would look very, very different if Microsoft had said, "Oh, hey, we've got a good relationship with this studio, Insomniac Games. They made this Sunset Overdrive for us.
Yeah,
they could do a fantastic job with a Marvel IP."
I'm pretty sure they didn't have a good relationship with Insomniac at that time.
Yeah, they may well not have. Yeah. But, like, I don't know. It's just like a very different world if they had said yes to something there. Well, no, it's not a very different world. Gaming's like a small part of the world, you know. But if they had worked with a third-party studio in the way that Sony did, then it would be a different picture. But like Rand was saying, it was a different Xbox back then. So
it's a different Xbox.
They claimed they were going to focus on their own IP, and debatably they did, maybe a little bit. I don't know. And here we are.
It's a hard pill to swallow, that one.
I mean, they did. Xbox doesn't focus on licensing at all, really. And so, like, they want to own their stuff, which is why, like, even when all the rumors pop up about Warner Brothers, the reason why that's a non-starter for Xbox is because they want to own the IPs, and you wouldn't own the IPs, and that's like a big issue. So, like, I get them wanting to be like, well, no, we want to focus on our own stuff. But, like, Sony, I think, saw the bigger picture because, and this is what I said on Xbox too, it's like, right now, Xbox's big thing is Game Pass. And I think what is missing from the service is a title or franchise that can actually penetrate past the hardcore into, like, the casual realm, which is something Spider-Man does so incredibly well for PlayStation because everybody knows who Spider-Man is, and on top of it, it's a really great game. Right? Obviously, the game's got to be good because if the game's bad, nobody's gonna care, right? If you're Marvel Avengers from Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix, nobody cares because it's a bad game. Well, there's like half a good game there, but, like, you know what I mean, right? So, like, Game Pass is all about how are we going to get more people? How are we going to get 30 million people on the service? How are we going to get 40 million? How are we going to get 50 million? And I've always made the argument that, like, something from Marvel or something Star Wars related or something that just, you know, has that cachet would work so much better than anything, you know, Compulsion could make or, you know, Machine Games could make or anybody really outside of maybe, like, you know, the next Elder Scrolls or Fallout or what have you. Like, if you had an exclusive Punisher game, like Alex was saying, or you had an exclusive Black Panther game, if you had an exclusive Mandalorian game or like, that would put eyes on Game Pass in a way that you really haven't, because those IPs, like, transcend gaming to a certain degree.
Absolutely.
And I think that's kind of what Xbox needs. You know, I do think Starfield is going to be big when it does come out, but Starfield doesn't have that, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't have that name right now.
It's a new IP after all. Yeah.
So it's like, but if you were like, yo, we got an exclusive X-Men game coming, like, regular like people, you know, like because you watch all these reaction channels or whatever on YouTube, and they'll actually react to Spider-Man stuff even though they're not gamers, simply because it's Marvel related, and that goes a long way. So you know, we'll see, you know, if they do stuff like that. But you know, it didn't make sense in 2014, but I do think it makes a lot more sense now than it ever did before. So.
Absolutely does. Absolutely does. Shout out to the 470 people watching. Smash the like button. We have got lots to do. And well done for the super chats. You guys are really invigorating some really cool discussions there. But that's, Rand, you hit the nail on the head there. There's a whole different landscape there. The mindset, something that goes beyond the core game, even gamers like that. I had seen Spider-Man reaction, Wolverine reactions. You know, those reaction videos you talk about. I've seen some, and these aren't. Well, I don't want to gatekeep. I'm not the arbiter in deciding what is a gamer or not. So wide now, such a wide gamut now. What constitutes a gamer? But Xbox needs it. I think Xbox are exploring it. Indiana Jones is perhaps an example of them maybe intention to go into the mass market. Who knows? But Asa, you laugh.
They can't have that because that predates them. The Indiana Jones, and I'm sure that's probably going to come up as a topic as well. I'm sure Rand has had enough of it after yesterday, but that predates anything to do with Xbox.
It makes Xbox fans mad. That's the thing. I don't understand why anybody even thought it would be exclusive, considering it predated the acquisition. Like, I would imagine Indiana Jones is multi-platform simply because when Bethesda struck the deal with Disney, I mean, it's just like, yeah, we want it everywhere. But like, you know, it's been a while. I mean, I'm sure maybe they could renegotiate and be like, yeah, we want exclusivity or timed exclusivity or whatever. But like, people were shocked when Jez said he knew for a fact that at least a year ago it was multi-platform. But it's like, is that really so hard to believe? I guess for some people it was.
I don't think it is. I actually think I'll be surprised.
It's all about the Twitter conversation. That's really all it's about. It's about
like, Twitter's amazing.
The Twitter fight. That's all it's for. It's like, oh, well, we got your exclusive now. And it's like, bro, shut up, bro. Just play the fucking video game, dude.
Dude, they clip that too, and they're passing it around like, you know,
you saying it's gonna be multi-plat?
Yeah, so like they're passing around, and it's just like another Xbox L, and it's just like.
As they celebrate Destiny being multi-platform. Makes no sense, but fine. Okay. What great logic there. This is funny, Alex. This speaks well to your hot and cold nature, which I can attest to, because me and you have this similar kind of reception. Doovie gives a super chat with $2. He says, shout out to Alex and Rand, goated panel. And then immediately Andrew Wilkins with another $2 super chat goes, what tainted weed is Alex smoking? With that comment, he's referring to your comment on
Banjo and Mario.
Double Fine. I think you're talking about Double Fine. It was Double Fine.
I was, maybe, yeah. How rude can I be to your panel? You
can be whatever. This is
it's the weed that your wife rolled with her vagina. That
damn!
Wow. Okay.
Wow!
I take back everything I said.
Where's the muting? Where's the button for that? Wow!
I'm such an idiot. Knowing who Alex is, I said, "Oh yeah, go for it.
Go for it." Have you been to my streams? Have you seen my fucking content? You're giving me the green light. This is what you're doing.
See, we want to be free. That's Alex's view. I don't remember who did this. Andrew.
You just threw him under the bus, Gaz.
That's literally Rand knew. Rand knew when I asked that question. Yeah. He was like, "Oh shit, here it comes," and then Gaz was like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead, yeah." Asa was like, "Oh shit, I gotta get ready."
Responsibility for that, Andrew. I
was not ready.
Apologize.
No, I don't apologize. Fuck him. Fuck him. Ban him. Fuck him. Get him out of here. Ban him.
No, we like free flowing content here, unless it's Christopher Hart who comes in trolling with all caps. But you're welcome there as well, Christopher Hart, you crazy person. But this is the source. Let's listen. This is where we get. If anyone ever accuses us of not being independent, the two blokes, Gaz and Asa, who put all their livelihood into this, they can suck my. In fact, dick. That's what I meant to say, because we're independent. We don't have to censor it. What's that? Fire's Shadow? Sorry, I was zoomed out so much. Fire's Shadow with a $5 Australian mine. Because awesome to see key content creators could get to. Oh my! So it's going to be a good message. Get together for Gaz's birthday. It's in Australia. Why is it with the Australians? You love to wish me a fake happy birthday. Great show. Surprised Alex hasn't got the salt shaker out. He doesn't need to. He's just flicking.
I perpetuate it. It just oozes out of me. Although my good friend of mine, Mario Sniper, does have Morton salt on his desk, and I think I'm about to do that myself. Just put Morton salt on my desk as a thing.
Do it.
Just to have it there.
Sauce,
It's just for the fun.
I might start snorting. Zork 87, shut up! Purple tree.
Wait, Zocker 87, who can't make a fucking thumbnail? That's Zocker?
Damn, bro, don't kill Zocker like that.
If I wanted to have a fucking Craig, what is it? Not a Craig. No, it's a fucking Kirkland version of Downward Thrust. I'd look at Zocker's channel.
Damn. Yeah, but Zocker's a PC guy like you, though, Alex.
Yeah, okay.
He is, though. He doesn't.
No, I'm just fucking around.
Gaz, you know.
He's a PC guy.
Zocker's like 95% PC, 5% Xbox.
Oh, why you? Leave Zocker alone. Purple tree frog.
I'm just teasing Zocker. I'm just teasing. Don't worry. Don't cry to dealer. Be like, Alex said something mean, and dealer's gonna go, you shouldn't have fucking talked to Alex.
No, so if I know Zorka, he can bant. Our party chats are even messier than what you're hearing right now, people. And Zorka, there's, oh shit, Alex talking shit, I like it. And shout out to Zorka, man, I love you. I hope you liked the source video. There was a bit, I'll talk to you about in party chat. It was so funny, man.
Can we talk about your content, Gaz?
Just go for it. Talk to me.
Yeah, okay, why the fuck is your content 10 minutes long, but then 8 minutes of you doing dumb skits and then 2 minutes of actual content?
I don't think that's a very good point. So my video is going to be really long, and I think people have the attention span of goldfish. So I'm like, I can see it from the analytics and the drop-offs. I'm like, I really work hard with the skits. So I'm like, do people really want to see me? Okay, so I really want to go raw on the monologues, but I just don't know if people. And also, you have to understand, the music is really important to me. So when I put that in the timeline, I had to cut out loads of even skits. So I'm like, I like the flow of the music, and then I have to find another track. Will people listen? I don't know the answer to that. I cut it because I think people wouldn't like it. I don't know.
What if you think about this one? What if you mix the skits in between the monologues? I've
done that before. I've interspersed them, but that takes more of an effort in terms of melding it with the track, because the music is really important to me. I was thinking of doing just monologue-based content. I don't know if people like it, but it's something unique.
The skits are great.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Be honest. 100%.
I think some run a little too long.
That's fair enough. I need to know that. I
think some run just I think you can get to the joke.
Yeah.
A lot sooner.
Yeah, not fair enough. I'm open to critique like that. I need to know.
You want to hit the 8 minute mark. I'm just telling you that right now. 8 minutes is where you want to be.
So that's really important.
8 minute minimum is where you want to go, right?
Okay.
But
that's a shout out to people there as well.
But you still want to be able to have that engagement throughout. Like, I use quick cuts, I use zoom ins, I use aquatine, I use other stuff. Like, let's keep that ADHD brain going, baby.
One of those is a moisturizer, right?
Yeah,
quick cuts, zoom in, and a moisturizer.
Yeah. Oh shit! I should do that. You know what? What if I just moisturize my thighs mid-video? That'd be hilarious. Just out of nowhere. It'd be like, you know what's coming. You know what's happening. You start pumping it in the middle of the video.
I will do
Anyways,
that.
I think like, if you can get to the joke faster and then get to or intersperse it in between, like, there's an Xbox Civil War, and then Colt shows up like doing the thing.
Yeah,
he did.
I think you're right.
And you've listen, Adobe After Effects has been your thing recently, apparently, from what I've seen.
It takes a while.
I know what you're. Oh, it does.
The Premiere Pro. Premiere Pro is pretty strong as well. But yeah. But After Effects for the tracking is important.
I think if you mix
I'll tell you now,
in between,
what you see is nothing compared to what's coming next. It's going to go even more. My PC rig is dying. My timeline for the last video was a mess. Sorry, chat. I know you, as content creators, you probably won't care, or non-content creators, you might not care. But this is interesting, chat. Alex, appreciate the offer, the advice, and I might have to chat to you about it afterwards. But you are right. These are the things I consider. Don't want to lose the craft. And Dealer said the same thing to me, because why are your monologues so short and your skits so long? I'm going to try and find a balance, but I love...
Because, okay, so why do people come to your channel? Do they come for the skits, or do they come for you?
I don't know the answer to that question.
That's what we need to find out. Do they come for Gaz, acting like a
me,
maniac?
the annoying piece of shit that I am, or the videos? What do you come for?
More than likely, it's you being an annoying piece of shit. That's why people watch my channel.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, look at like this. They come
both.
They come to my channel for Jez. They don't come for me.
Okay, says the guy who started off at 5,000 subs and went to fucking 90K in like 6 months. Shut up.
Yeah,
it's true.
You piece of shit.
I love this show. I love this show. Everyone is saying both. Yes, Yodani says he comes for Asa, which is ironic because Asa has not made a video in 2016.
Asa hasn't even talked on this podcast yet.
No, yeah, he sits there.
That's my fault.
He just sits there. I always try to get him more involved every time I'm on, but
Asa's so decisive in his knowledge. He shuts the conversation down because it's dead. He's facts. He hits
Patrick
the nail on the head, and we're like, oh, we can't add more to this.
Patrick says that he comes for you guys.
He comes for me. Everyone comes for me.
Heyo.
Heyo.
But that's great. This is no show has been like this, and I love it. And I will. The next source video is gonna be crazy, but you know what, Alex and chat. Alex is right. I will intersperse the monologues and the skits. I've done it before, and that's really been successful. Just requires more thought with more music. It takes hours. Each source video I take 4 hours listening to music, but. Fine. Enough about me. You don't need to know about the source videos. But I appreciate the banter. Purple Tree Frog with the £5 super chat. Xbox are falling. Oh, failing. I can't read. Zorka's right. Let me zoom in. Xbox are failing at marketing their games. Everybody knows Game Pass is great, but they barely market the actual games that are going into it. Alex, what's your take on that?
I think so. I think also that they don't know how to market their games.
That's always
been a problem.
That's always been my major problem with Xbox. They're good at marketing the brand Xbox. They're even good at marketing Game Pass in general. But when it comes to their individual titles, they're not very good at marketing their individual games. I've always felt that way.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think they rely on other companies to do the marketing for them.
Yeah. And comparatively, when you look at PlayStation, they kill it with the marketing compared to.
Oh no,
it's definitely not there because I didn't even know that Xbox have got any games.
You know what's interesting is, oh wow, is that Sony markets their games a lot less than they used to, especially comparative to last generation. Like God of War is probably coming out in like 3 or 4 months. And there's literally no marketing for it. You know what I mean? It's interesting how, the Jim Ryan era versus the Sean Layden era and all the things.
Which we're going to talk about. We can still
talk about Jedi Fallen Order. You skipped that topic.
I'm going to bring that at the end because you
Let's pick it up. Let's go.
You only got 15 minutes left, guys, before overtime and the payments you got to dump the money into mine and Alex's PayPal. This isn't
true. This is not free.
I'm sharing. I'll pay in source, in bottles, DNA. Mr. K. Rochelle Black, thank you for the $5 super chat. Alex, incoming.
Crucial Black.
Crucial Black. Sorry, it's a KRO. I don't know why I read that.
He's in my streams all the time.
Okay, so Alex, incoming. Alex is a bot from Pony's comments. Give me salt, Alex. Give me salt.
You know what? If I would get invited to PlayStation podcasts, I'd join those too. But you know what? They're not in it because they're too busy playing fucking Twitter. If y'all would play Twitter less and make YouTube content, maybe you might actually get a fucking paycheck every now and then instead, huh?
Alex, know what they're talking? They're talking about the FTC now, though.
Oh listen, but Rand. We're being investigated by the FTC. You, me, Dreamcast guy, Paris, Tommy
Colt
Papalopoulos, Colt Eastwood.
I don't know if you heard this one, but they fired Paris from the Xbox Game Showcase Extended Edition and hired Colt Eastwood, flew him out there in April to give him, the scripts and the check.
No, but they
people
don't
are
pay Colt
idiots.
Eastwood. They pay him an actual like bugles. That's what Colt Eastwood likes. He said, "Pay me in bugles, I'll be fine." That's why they picked Colt Eastwood over Paris, because they're like, we can save a ton of money kicking Paris out.
Yeah, he does it for free.
All Colt Eastwood wants is fucking nacho cheese bugles. That's perfect. Fucking send him out there. We're good to go.
Oh man, the wild theories about what actually happens is so ridiculous. By the way, FTC, hey, you can investigate. Well, they want investigators. They know for a fact no one is sponsoring this channel because we keep it real. I'm not saying that others don't keep it real. The ones who are sponsors chat to us. We actually
Hey,
have
Manscaped, how you doing over there?
I am the perfect person for Manscaped. I talk about balls all day long. Why am I not sponsored by Manscaped?
I don't know.
That's true. I don't know. Rand.
Jesus.
Shabs with a
Code
2,000
XP2.
Code X. That's it. XB2 in chat, everyone, if you want to trim your balls. Shabs Inevitable with a £2 super chat. My dog has stepped on a bee. Shabs is clearly on crack. Danny Passion Official with a $2 super chat. Gaz, hit me up for the Source production videos. Brother, I want to chat to you about it because there's so much on cinematography and lighting that I need to learn, but we will speak. Kendrick,
Lighting's a
start.
nightmare.
Oh, lighting is everything. Yeah, it's
the
so
worst.
hard.
It's
And
the
then
worst.
finding
And then you
locations.
sweat, and you sweat the whole fucking time. Oh, it's the worst.
Bruh, it's just ridiculous. My first Source videos where I was sweating profusely was because I was literally sweating profusely because 15 lights on it. But actual lighting and understanding Rembrandt lighting and all that crap, crazy. Kendrick Star with a $2 super chat goes, for Alex to never show his thighs. Don't be jealous because he's got meat on his thighs. Come on.
It's 'cause that's what he wants. It's one of those like, oh no, I hope I'm not gay, secretly being gay. That's what
but
it
he did a
is.
puke emoji, but that's a lie. And then he wants another $2 super chat goes for Rand to show his face. That is something we all want. But Rand, you said if you hit 100k subs, you will do that, right?
I've said such things, indeed.
Indeed. And then he's a man of his word.
But if you want to see my face, OnlyFans/Rand. You'll see a lot more too.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
It took a strange turn. But yeah, okay. I'm there. Yudani Cruzado with the $5 super chat. He goes, when Acer talks, we all listen and learn and nod in agreement. That console wars suck. Bastard. We sit silently and then the ad hits, ADD hits, and we want the salt and sauce again. Yes, Yudani, don't even deny your true nature. Neil, thank you for being a member for 6 months. He's a very nice chap. And he has a nice message because Gaz is hilarious with an amazing personality. I'm in a quiet taste, but Neil, I really appreciate your nice, lovely words there. Oh, I haven't seen this in why haven't I not seen this in a while? Because I don't know. Rams, thank you, Joey, for blah blah highs. Did that even work? It
Made it
did. Oh damn. Rams, thank you for becoming a member of the GameOnDaily Elite. It makes a big difference. Thank you so much. I hope you will like the content that's to come. Hopefully more consistently. And with the 8-minute mark, as I've learned just today. But yeah, so let's talk about this topic that bloody Rand knocked the sales out of me as I was going to introduce. But this is a big topic. This is a big announcement. In fact, it was so annoying we made a thumbnail for this stream, although Replace is amazing. We'll talk about that in a bit. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. That's what it's called. It's weird. The colons are after the Jedi. But Rand, spicy topic, right? Yeah. Talk to me
not
about
really,
stuff.
but you know.
Come on, man. Let's talk about the game. Let's talk about more about the games. This game I played Jedi Fallen Order when the Xbox Series X launched on the basis that the reviews were lukewarm and there were so many bugs at the start. But when I played it, I was shocked. I went back to Metacritic and it was like a 69. I'm like, what? This is one of the best games I've played in ages.
There's what on PC was it 69?
There's
no way that game was that low.
Well, let me just check. Maybe it was PC, actually. I think you may be right. Jedi Fallen Order. It's a 79, sorry, on PlayStation 4, which is ridiculous. For a game of that caliber, I get it had some bugs, and it was 81 on Xbox One. Again, I still think, in my opinion, whether or not people like to say Metacritic is redundant, I think it is criminally low for a game that had great quality with some problems. But what's your hope for this one? One, shout out to Jeff Grubb. He announced the name of it months ago. But also, what's your take on this? Are you excited? Did you like the first game?
Love the first game. Super excited. Yeah? Super excited for the sequel. Hopefully it comes out early next year, but I'll take it as long as it's not delayed to 2024. I mean, I don't know what else there really is to say. It's just like...
What did you think was wrong with the first game? Because I felt like there was a lot of backtracking.
Backtracking and no fast travel would have helped out a lot. Because, I wanted to 100% that game, but I was just like, I'm not backtracking through this whole thing to get the things I missed because it just takes too long. Those were probably my biggest complaints. I felt the combat was good. The powers worked really well. I thought the story was pretty interesting. I'd give the game like an 8.5 or a 9, but it was super enjoyable. Like for me at least. So I can't wait to see the improvements, because that's always the thing when you're looking at like the first game from a team. I know it's Respawn, but like different director, Stig. Doing this totally different from what they normally do. And it's like, all right, so they can take all the feedback that people liked, people didn't like from the first game, and potentially craft an even better second game. So it's probably right now, because I was thinking about the games that we know are coming next year. I would say right now, probably my most anticipated game of 2023 at this point.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know you're that big a fan of it, but that's good. But that's a great point. I mean, the backtracking was annoying. Did you play Fallen Order, Alex? And what do you think of it? And are you excited for this?
I have not played Fallen Order. It's on my to play list. It's installed on my PC. So what I do is I'm super weird. Here's what I do. I install 26 games on my PC that I want to play throughout the year. And what I do is I only install games that are in the alphabet. So every A through Z gets a game. And then I will play a letter from the alphabet from my backlog throughout. So I'm on P for Pillars. But I have Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I've got a Medieval, Baldur's Gate, Chrono Cross, Dead Space, Elden Ring, FF7 Remake, Getsune Fumaden, Hades. So I do like that. So
Hades, you haven't played Hades yet. Whoa.
No, I waited for it to get off Epic. Yeah, I really like it. I want to get into it. The last rogue light Hades is not a rogue like, it's a rogue light, by the way.
Oh really?
I don't really like. Well, rogue lights are games that have rogue aspects of the game Rogue. That's why they're called roguelites. Yeah, there's an old ASCII game. You know what ASCII is?
Nope.
Okay, ASCII is
history lessons. Yeah.
History lesson.
Ace is laughing.
So graphics used to be made with just letters and icons, right? And so ASCII art, it's like when people draw images of Hank Hill or a dick with typed letters of the ampersand or the at symbol. And that's what ASCII art is. So Rogue was a game where you were just a block and you would go through levels designed in ASCII art, and you would get those things in that run and then you would die. Right? So roguelikes are games like Rogue. Roguelites are games that take rogue elements and then put it in their game. So I usually hate roguelites, mostly because it becomes a grind fest. No, it becomes a grind fest. I'm grinding this currency or material in order to get to the next level to then go to the next part. So I heard
the original Rogue. Yeah.
The original Rogue, yeah. So it's like if you It really depends. So I heard Hades fixes a lot of those issues. So I'm kind of excited to see what that game does, because a lot of roguelites I've honestly could not stand.
I will tell you this.
It's the grinding
It never
aspect of
feels like a grind.
And that's so like Rogue Legacy did that to me, and I was like, fuck Rogue Legacy, I don't want to play that anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like those kind of games. So I was just like, fuck it, you know? And I'm sick of rogue games because they're all over Steam.
Yeah.
I'm sick of roguelite card games.
What about
I don't want card
roguelite
games anymore.
What about roguelite procedurals generated?
There you go. It's the same shit. Oh, every fucking indie game's got a pixelized art style with a chiptune soundtrack, and it's roguelite procedural card-based action. It's like, shut up, you know. But then here I am, like, hey, go play Inscription. You know, like, you've never played Inscription?
No, what's Inscription? Asa, you played Inscription?
I haven't played it, but I know exactly what
I've
it
heard
is.
of
yeah.
it. But I don't know what
Inscription
it
is one of the best games you need to fucking play. It breaks the fourth wall constantly. It is, in fact, a roguelite card-based game, which is hilarious. But what it does is it takes that aspect and it turns it on its head. And so you're like, oh, it's like Slay the Spire or whatever. But then you're trapped in a room with the person you're fighting against, and every time you lose, you die. And he takes your picture and he puts you in a card, and then you become the card. So the next time you play again, you can get your own card of your previous self, and then you can play that. And then you like, it's fucking great. It is fucking, like, Inscription is a game. First of all, anything that has Devolver Digital, just fucking play it.
That's what
It's
you
a
need to
Devolver
start
game.
off with.
It's Devolver games, so just play Devolver. It doesn't matter what they make. Just, if it's got their tag on it, you fucking play that game. But Inscription is so fucking amazing. The second act is like a weird, it's like not that great, but act 1 and 3 are phenomenal across the board. But that is a game you totally should play. But like, that kind of shit just pisses me the fuck off when I see that just flood Steam nonstop.
You know, Alex, there's another roguelike, I don't know the terminology here, but coming to PC soon, and that's Returnal.
So yes, Returnal's coming.
Is that definitely
to PC soon.
confirmed?
It's on
Was that
Steam
rumor?
DB. If it's in the database, it's coming.
Okay. That's a great game.
And I know you're a
Lovely
lover
game.
of roguelikes and PlayStation exclusives coming to PC. I thought, didn't that game need like
grinding,
the
though.
SSD to actually work? I'm confused.
I heard, but I think it's also just going to be just fine on a regular, good old
Doesn't need an
HDD.
SSD. That game, what about that game needed an SSD? I have no idea. That's bullshit. But the game is incredible, even though it's very grindy. That's the one that's very different to Hades. And Asa covered it in our review really well.
I only died
Asa,
like 10 times, I guess.
You were very good at that game. Very good at that game. I have to respect you for that. As much as I hate your face. Well,
You
wait a minute. I
love
haven't
me.
seen your
What are
face.
you talking about?
I have seen your face, but I haven't seen it live. We want to see your face live. But yeah, Returnal's on screen. Asa, while Returnal's playing, you have a. Do you have a soft spot? You do have a soft spot for roguelites done well, if they're not grindy enough. Did you play Fallen Order?
I really dislike roguelikes. I've been playing Rogue Legacy 2 recently, which is a really highly rated one that just came out on PC and Xbox. And I don't like roguelikes, so I've fallen off of that. Returnal it plays really nicely, but Alex, play it before you play Hades. That's all I'll say there. Like, Hades will ruin Returnal. Rand played both and disagrees because he didn't die very much. But for me, Hades gets the loot so much better. And Returnal is like each run is like 3 hours, and you don't feel like you're making that much progress. And you go, oh,
yeah,
that was 3 hours
It's
lost. Hades never feels like that. So Hades fixed rogues.
Hades is amazing. And I'm someone who don't like roguelites or whatever. I adored Hades.
Yeah, I love Hades. That game, when I first played, there's very few games I've sat in and played for 10 hours straight and late to work. I had 1 hour sleep before I had to work. That game is incredible. Alex, you have to play it. I think it will. But maybe Asa's right, play Returnal, even though alphabetically doesn't fit into your regime. But it's a great game.
It doesn't have to be like in that order. I can just play it as long as it's there, but I have an alphabet of games.
Fair enough. but you're in for a treat. I'm almost jealous that you haven't played Hades. You can experience it for the first time again. It's amazing. Amazing game. We have a few topics to talk about. Very quickly, Replaced got delayed. I don't know what you want to talk about it, but they said that the war in Ukraine and their base there is the reason why they, of course, delay it. It's just that for Xbox, it's not a good look because obviously they had a deal with Microsoft and that was going to be a Game Pass game. Also, I really was looking forward to Replaced. The game is stunning. I know, Asa, what do you call this? Pixel art? Or nah?
Oh, I can't remember what it looks like. It's the trailer's about to come up, but probably. Or no.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man, the art style is amazing to me. This is for the old people. Do you remember Fade to Black? That was just a brilliant game, man, and this kind of reminds me of that as well. There was a great 2D side scroller that almost had some 3D sprite stuff, but it was amazing. But Replaced got delayed. Lots of respect for the devs who are going through lots of stuff. Hey, man, look, delay any game if it needs it. Obviously, in this case, it hurts Xbox, and damn, it's a good-looking game. They're more than justified in delaying this game. So that's I want to cover. I don't know what more we can add to that.
I don't think that one hurts Xbox much, because the thing that people say that Xbox is lacking is not indie games. Much as Replaced looks like a good one, a delay of an indie game, yeah, they got their reasons, and I don't think people are saying, there's not enough indie games on Game Pass, and this doesn't fall into the same boat as like Starfield and Redfall and all of those. So I don't think there's any hurry for them to bring this one out. It does look nice.
It does look nice. As Zwine, thank you for that question. Whatever happened to The Last Night, which was also another game that looked very similar to Replaced, but ended up getting delayed. And I think the dev had a bit of a piss up with the devs of this game.
Didn't he run into funding problems?
I think he did, and then apparently came back, and then something happened. I don't know. There's been radio silence on that front. But
they showed that game in like 2018, 2019, and hasn't really shown up since. So,
Purple Tree Frog asked the question: wasn't there some controversy? There was some political thing or some stance he had, and I don't remember what it is, but that was one of it as well. One of the reasons why. I don't know why that would suffer, but The Last Night was a great looking game. This one kind of has carried on the torch. Shame about what's happening in Ukraine, and whatever, man. That's just that more. There are bigger priorities there, but that's a shame. So, and you're going to see a lot more delays. That's the problem. I'm still on the Jaffe train that thinking God of War will get delayed. Cole Eastwood doesn't think that. Alex, do you think is this The Last Night? Oh, Asa?
That's The Last Night, yeah.
Oh, right. That's The Last Night. Yeah, I thought I recognized
phenomenal game. That is what it looks like, yeah.
Yeah, it looks amazing. Oh, look at that, man. But do you, like God of War's people are saying it's going to be delayed. I don't know. I think Cole doesn't think it will. I think it will. Oh my God, this game looks good. See, this is the kind of stuff I want to see. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to even leverage power, but something ingenious. I think indies, shout out to them for actually taking some risks. But yeah, that's Replaced. That's been delayed. I want to talk about two more topics, Jetta, and I appreciate you. Oh, this is just hit the 2-hour mark. We'll keep it brief, but Jim Ryan, this sneak peek into my next Source video, and also Ty Kim, with me on, bringing more games to PC and mobile. This was very scathing remarks as far as PlayStation hardcore fanboys are concerned. This was treasonous talk. Doubling down on live service. I think, Asa, can you tell our viewers, because I've been in the midst of getting
it's a multi-part one. So Sony, I don't even know what event it was, fiscal results or something like that, but they had a few choice extracts from it. One of them being Jim Ryan's little Q&A, where he has explained that Sony have been leaning very hard on these big single-player cinematic games that we know that Sony do. He said in his words that they're targeting a very narrow section of the market there, and they want to expand beyond it into PC and mobile and live service games. And there's a few interesting little bits and pieces in there. The one that stood out to me in their paperwork was they cited that last fiscal year they made $80 million from the PC space, and their targeted revenue next fiscal year is $300 million. which is a massive increase that goes beyond the games that we already know about. We know Demon Souls, Returnal, what else do we? Ghost of Tsushima. There's a few that we know are coming. They don't account for that 300 million. So it's interesting to speculate on what else is going to be bridging that gap. What these 2 live service games that they've got coming are. And yeah, where do you want to drive into it from there?
I mean, the 2 live service games are probably Factions. And Twisted Metal, I would imagine.
Twisted Metal.
That's too soon, isn't it? Twisted Metal's not been in development for long.
Maybe not Twisted Metal, but I mean, I don't know. Sony going to PC. We've all seen this coming, even though like the PlayStation fans didn't want to believe it, because hey, but I remember when all this stuff started, and I started it, and the PlayStation guys all attacked me because they couldn't fathom. Because the PlayStation guys think that Sony thinks, how do I say this? That Sony cares about their console war. Yeah,
yes.
Like the console war is important to them. And I just remember saying like, no, all their games are going to go to PC. And they're like, no, Rand, see, PlayStation knows the value of an exclusive. And it's like, bro, I don't think you get it. Like, I don't know, Jim Ryan's talking about the narrow console, whatever Ace has said. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's like they're just going to put their content everywhere because it makes the most sense to do, to make the most money.
Day and date?
Yeah, their live service games are going to be day and date on PC 100%. You're not releasing a live service game in this day and age only on console. It's also going to be on PC day one. It's probably going to be free to play. We know PlayStation guys don't like multiplayer games, so I don't know how they're going to react to this stuff. Well, some do. Like BG loves multiplayer games, so I'm sure he'll probably enjoy it, but the other ones really don't. Yeah, so I mean, it's just welcome PlayStation into the new era, right? Like,
It is what it is. I don't think that the resistance is going to falter. I've seen people talk about the mass exodus. Alex, you've talked about it. Alex, this is going to give us lots of content, isn't it, when these people start crying?
But let me drop some knowledge on the chat real fast.
Knowledge.
Right? If a game does not cost anything and there's no cost for you to enjoy the product, then you are the product.
Oh, deepness. You are the
That's how it works. That's how it works. If a game is free and the product costs you no money, then the game is not the product. You are the product.
And that's why I spent thousands on Apex Legends, because I don't want to be the product.
Exactly. So it's not free anymore. The game. See, I get what you're saying. In most of the world, that's true. But in gaming, where they're free to play, it's very much a case of bringing down every barrier that they can so that people will spend money. So then the person's not necessarily the product in terms of data harvesting and the stuff like you're the product if you go on Facebook and you're the product if you go on Twitter. Absolutely. Free to play games, I'm not sure I agree.
They still take your data. They still take your playtime. They still take your information. They still take your hardware information. They still take what you spend money on, what you don't spend money on. They'll say, okay, when did you drop money? When did you drop some dollars? When you didn't? When did you gamble? When did you not gamble? When did you open a pack?
Well, did you
that's true on your £70 games as well.
Yeah, totally. But like, I think this has been in the works for the longest time. Sony has had PC games from the very beginning. EverQuest, y'all forgot about that? Y'all forgot about DRM, that they made Securom, for Christ's sake. Like, they haven't been away from the PC space. They just went to PlayStation and decided to do consoles for a little bit. It's going to come on PC. They know that market is going to spend money. They know they're going to be there. I mean, look at what God of War sold in a couple of months at $50 fucking. 4-year-old game sold almost 1 million copies at 50 a pop.
Yeah.
And you know what? The games are going to come closer. So Sony will be able to start so like when Returnal comes, it'll probably be 60.
I think 40.
Oh, I think 40.
Oh wait,
Returnal will be 40.
Returnal was 70, right? When it launched?
Yeah.
PlayStation,
It'll be 40.
It'll be 40?
But this is why I don't want console gamers on PC. Because I don't want $70 games.
Yeah.
Because they'll pay for that. Oh, $70, it's on console, it's on PC, same thing. Now I got to pay $70 for Crusader Kings 4. Like, no, fuck out of here.
I don't think that will happen. PC gamers are resilient. I don't think there's a mass exodus.
But it's 60
what
right
was
now.
Horizon when it came?
60.
So I'm saying, so you think Returnal is going to somehow be 40 when it comes? When
I think Returnal is a special case because I don't think the $70 price actually hurt Returnal, in my opinion.
Well, the $70 price probably also hurt other games like Ratchet and stuff.
More Returnal because it's so niche. Ratchet has a legacy. Returnal doesn't.
Ratchet had a legacy of being a budget title. The Ratchet before was like $30, $40. It was like 30 quid here. So
I just also think like if Sony's closing the window from PS5 release to PC release, it's also going to be, the price is going to be a lot higher than it would if it was 3 years later. So
speculative because things are always changing on this, but Returnal is an example. It's coming to PC, we'll say soon. Order of events, it came out on PlayStation just over a year ago, right? It's going free on the PlayStation subscription probably before it comes out on PC. How do you see, Rand, then, the timeline for a PlayStation release? The whole day and date conversation. How long until it goes on subscription? How long until it goes on PC for their bigger titles?
I think it depends. I think the live service games launch day and date on PC, simply because I think that's just a must. I think the single player stuff doesn't go day and date on PC yet. I think you're probably still a little bit further out from that, but you're probably talking 1 to 2 years. I also think I actually think the window would be closer if it wasn't for the pandemic and all the studios and everything. Like there's still a lot of these ports are probably taking longer than they would like to actually get finished. So it's like Returnal probably would have launched already on there. It's just that's probably taking a little bit longer of time. So in the future, I think you're probably looking at a year, and then it'll close to be 6 months, and then and then at some point everything will just be in day and date, and people will just be accepting of it, and that's as far as subscription. I guess it really depends on what they're trying to do. Live service games, if they're free to play, well, you don't need to put them in subscription.
Yeah.
They could put their live service games in the subscription in that $18 tier if you're also trying to sell for $70. So I guess it depends on what they're trying to do. But I am of the opinion, like, years from now, like, they will. Because, I mean, even though Jim Ryan's like, hey, we're not going to do it because our games are just so good and we'd have to lower investment, he also did say, like, in the next breath, I don't know what the future holds. So
yeah, he's
leaving the door open, if they actually need to do it in the future. So that's why you never say never. Never. Yeah. I don't know why people are out there like, Sony never is going to do this. And he's like, you sure, bro? You sure? Because everyone's backtrack. Because Alex, there was so many of these guys that said Sony would never do this. And then, like, every time Sony does something, the goalposts shift constantly back. Oh, it's okay because it's 3 years later, Sony can double dip. Oh, it's okay because it's a year later. It's like, but you literally went from they'll never do it because they know the value of exclusive, and now you're just making up things to
because it's so funny watching grown 40-year-old men fight for $1 billion corporation that doesn't even know they exist.
Yeah, that's true. They don't know they exist.
Because not even Sacred Symbols has support from Sony.
They're quite independent,
the top PlayStation podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
Think about that. And it's not even. It's like Colin Moriarty's. He's in the industry.
Yeah. He
has the heritage. He has the chops. And even Sony's like, no, we don't want to work with him.
Yeah.
Like,
that's not so interesting. Well, it's true. I mean, Jim Ryan's statement, this just flew in the face rawly of whatever PlayStation fanboy narrative there is. Rawly, that could have been written by like an Xbox fanboy trying to shit on PlayStation. This is what Sony's going to do next, and you would have laughed. But think about it. There's like rather narrow console market that's shitting on PlayStation as far as fanboys concerned. PC and mobile, that's like sacrilege. Gas, games as a service. They must be live service games. More acquisitions.
It's almost something like Phil Spencer would say. It's almost like Jim Ryan and Phil Spencer are the same guy.
And he said live service games will be, and this is the quote, completely transformational to the PlayStation business. Sacrilege for PlayStation fanboys. That is wording that if we dared espouse that that's what PlayStation were going to do, that would have caused a... Well, that's kicked the hornet's nest, but that's the reality that faces PlayStation. They're just playing catch up to what Xbox was a while ago, and what it did do. I don't care damn what you think. It ratified Xbox's business model from day dot that you were ripping into for years. Sony's the follower there. It's literally the follower. He's paid, in my opinion, overpaid.
It doesn't, because they're still not saying that they're copying the Game Pass model, which is pretty much Microsoft are very much like all in on Game Pass at the moment. The stuff that Jim Ryan said didn't necessarily say that they're copying on that front. They're trying to hit some live service games, which is your Final Fantasy 14 and your Fortnite, that kind of thing, like standalone games that make a ton of money. And they're trying to expand to PC and mobile. But that's not necessarily what Microsoft are doing in the same way.
No, when I'm talking about the focus of games as a service, that is where their focus is. That's where they really faltered for, and that's because they couldn't really churn out the quality back then. The single player model was working well for them. It did. Last gen was the peak, in my opinion, of that model, and that's completely going down. The diminishing returns anyway. I thought the formula ran stale
because it's all about infinite growth. It's all about perpetual growth from investor sides, right? So Sony's single player games, like, look, I think they're great. Alex thinks they suck, right? Which is fine, But there's no denying that one, the games take longer to make than ever, and two, the games cost more than ever, right? So you're left with the situation of like, okay, well, we were making this profit before. How are we going to recoup that when it's actually taking longer and costing more? It's like, well, you need to find another revenue source. So we got PC, right? So we can grab that. But then it's like, but our investors really want growth. And how are we actually going to do that? Well, it's like, well, we didn't actually make multiplayer games last gen. And all of our money that we make on PlayStation is from the Fortnites and the Warzones and the microtransactions, right? So it's like, how are we going to actually show perpetual growth? She's like, I know, we could make live service games and put microtransactions and all this stuff in our own games and go to PC so we actually can show perpetual growth to our investors and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's where you end up.
When you see something like Apex Legends turn a revenue of like $2 billion, the cost of producing that game, remember, the game they just shadow dropped, didn't even announce, no marketing, nothing. That's a stock. Jim Ryan's a firm numbers guy. Can't fool. The numbers speak for themselves. So,
speaking of numbers, so I know Alex has a pressing need to go soon, but really quickly on the Sony thing. So the good news for the PlayStation fans is that Jim Ryan has also said they're still looking for more acquisitions. They're increasing investment in both new IP and existing IP with a more of a weighting. It's a 50-50 split between new IP and the old stuff. They also put a bunch of stats out about how demand for the PlayStation 5 being strong, and those stats were worthless. I'll say that. They're saying we used to sell like 6 PlayStation 4s a minute and we're selling 1,000 PlayStation 5s a minute. Don't take that to mean anything except the retail model has changed. People aren't going into shops anymore. So they're selling 1,000 a minute because demand is supply is constrained. They put them on a shop and they can physically sell 1,000 in a minute. Doesn't mean anything more than that. But it's also not a negative. Like, they are still selling PlayStation 5, so they are still making games. They are still investing. They are still growing their business. And they do VR. Screw you, Phil Spencer.
Yeah. Wow. I'm going to clip that one. So, yeah, before we do, we have to end the show because Alex needs to go. But let me very quickly read these super chats. Peter Morland, thank you for being a member for 5 months because loving the regular crew. Great to see Alex, and nice that Rand is finally joining after a grumpy start. Rand is like family. We have to sometimes kick him in the backside, but he's there.
I'm never grumpy. What are you talking about?
There you go. He's being grumpy right now. JD Up, thank you for the $10 super chat. Very generous. He goes, I don't know why people keep saying In Exile is making a Fallout 3 remake. Doesn't make sense. If anything, it would be a Fallout 1 or 2 remake or remaster. Just a thought I had. I saw a lot of people in the chat agreeing with him. Anything to add? No? Okay. I don't know. Carlos Alvarado, bless you. He says, what are PlayStation podcasts? It's only Xbox Game Pass 24/7. PlayStation content creators suck for some reason. They have shit quality marketing, editing. Their community sucks as far as I don't know. Don't ask me why. There are very few that I vibe with because they're actually any good. A good question. Flame with a $2 super chat. We haven't even seen Jim and Phil in the same room because don't want homicide. There's going to be war in the streets. I will end the show. Bless you in advance, Alex. And for everyone in chat, I'm sorry, we did spill over, but shout out to 461 people still watching. Smash that like button. We're going to go and get these gents an opportunity to give their outro. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining in. Sorry to end the show like that, but we have gone over by a half an hour almost. Rand, are you okay now? Are you feeling better now?
I've been okay the whole time. I could go for another hour.
Well, now he says that. I hope you had a good time.
Oh, well, I mean, I wouldn't be on the show if I didn't.
I'm glad
I love you
do.
guys.
I love you too. Tell people what's in state. It's not another video. That's a lie. When are you going to move the next video out?
I don't know. Whenever I feel like it, I just burnt out on that stuff. I don't know.
I feel.
We'll do it. We'll do. I have kind of been thinking about the preview video of the showcase, so that's coming in June, and it's just a matter of I don't know, just not being burnt out on making videos, you know. So
Never
showcase coming soon. Yeah. But the showcase might reinvigorate me because they actually have new stuff to talk about instead of the same old stuff, which is not interesting and exciting at all. So.
Yeah.
Maybe I should start talking about fanboys like Alex. I don't know.
It's an acquired taste, but it's a lot of fun.
That is not for you.
Yeah, it's probably not for me. I should really just start another channel and talk about books, probably.
You should actually. Why not? Why you've got passion for it, go for it. But absolutely. But shout out to you, Rant, and enjoy. And sorry if I dragged you out here on the podcast and away from your book, but this was useful and fun for me. At least it was for me. Last but certainly not least, Alex, I am very grateful that you turned out. Thank you so much for killing and breaking the sauce or thigh slapping, whatever your trademark salt is. I'm really sorry to the show drag, but I hope you had a great time, man.
It's fine. No, I appreciate everybody for hanging out and having a great show. Thank you everybody in the chat and everything else. In a couple of hours, I'll be streaming on my channel. That is my chat. My streams are. Rand, have you seen my streams? I think you have, right?
I have. I've been there. I usually just lurk, and I don't really say much.
My streams are something. I think that's the best way to put it. They are. It is. I put on a show.
Most of the time I stop by, he's shirtless.
I do get shirtless if people donate enough. So yes, that is a thing there. But stop by, check me out on there, and it'll be on YouTube on my channel. So. Tonight in a few hours, so enjoy that.
Absolutely. Isla, thank you so much for linking Alex and Rand stuff and the Twitch stuff. So yeah, please do check it out. I know chat, you love both gents. And JD Gamer, thank you so much finally for the super checkers. Rand, Alex, Gaz, and Asa. Wow, excellent. Thank you, JD. I hope you managed to catch the whole of the show. If not, watch it after the fact. Love you all, everyone in chat. Smash the like button, and we'll see you next week. Blah, blah.
Yeah, so we're doing one of these where I give my own little outro. So you can catch me. I'll be on the treadmill running around doing the Twitch stuff, and it's going to be fun. And thanks everyone. Thanks Alex and Rand, because I've had fun, even if Gaz has forgotten I'm here. And we're out.